A night in with MauLer and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine, I'll stay on safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, MauLer and the critical drinker.
Yes, I know we're late and gay tonight. What can I say? Like, I was doing my outfit, okay? I was trying to make myself look presentable for you guys. This is about the best I can do, okay?
I was helping him pick an outfit. We did like a whole montage. It was awesome.
Yeah, I was just here to press you more. Tell me I look good. No, it's good to have you all guys here. And, well, here we are for Open Bar 179. We're getting old with this stuff. The open
We've
bar.
come old. We were old. We're ancient now. It's just this is bones, bleached bones. It's all left.
I mean, is age even really a thing for a Lovecraftian monster like yourself, or is it just like a abstract concept?
There's as definitive an answer for that as there is, whether or not drinking excessively is the fountain of youth. I assume you've discovered whether or not the answer to that is definitive.
We've all discovered our own paths to immortality. Booze and rage just fuels me. It's like I'm too angry to die.
People are like, "How old are you?" And you're like, "I don't know. I can't speak to that, dude. I don't
know." I feel like the mouth of Sauron. Like I had a name once, but like I've been subsumed by my new identity. Well, anyway, since we're here and has become the tradition, shall I hit you with some facts, some pointless knowledge? Let's do it. Things that happened in 1979. 1, the Iranian Revolution. So, basically, Islamic extremists seized control of Iran in 1979 under Ayatollah Khomeini. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well for the Americans who happened to be working at the embassy there. They were taken hostage, which began the Iranian hostage crisis, which would last for over a year. These guys were all taken hostage, immortalized actually in the movie Argo, which is a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed that with Ben Affleck. But it kind of covers the efforts to smuggle a few of the embassy staff out of the country before they were discovered by the Revolutionary Guards. Very effective, tense thriller. I really enjoyed that one. So Argo, good recommendation from me. Also stuff that happened that year, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. So the Soviet Union invaded in Afghanistan to support the Marxist government that was starting to crack there because it wasn't too popular. So they thought, wow, a massive influx of tanks will soon put that right. As it turns out, it didn't, and it led to a 10-year-long war, which was only ended when John Rambo was sent into the country to rescue Colonel Troutman and actually destroyed the entire Red Army single-handed, which is, I think, pretty impressive. Like, Sylvester Stallone didn't just end the Cold War with Rocky; he ended him with Rambo as well. So
what was so lame about that movie is that they apparently dumbed it down. We saw about 5% of what he actually achieved in real life. So it's like, okay, could have shown us that, but fine, I guess.
He was making all kinds of deals and stuff behind the scenes, diplomacy, at the point of a knife. But like he did it.
Yeah.
Also stuff. 3 Mile Island incident or accident. So. America almost had their own Chernobyl, actually. A partial nuclear meltdown occurred at a power plant in Pennsylvania, causing widespread fear and questioning of nuclear safety. It actually was largely responsible for setting back nuclear power in the West by decades. Years around it. Over here, it wasn't much better, actually, in the UK. We had the Winter of Discontent, a series of strikes and industrial actions by basically, all of the different unions that were in play at the time actually toppled the government at the time, which led to Margaret Thatcher getting elected in a landslide victory. And she made it her mission to actually crush all of the trade unions. So, swings and roundabouts and all that. But more interesting news, in America, they had Disco Demolition Night, which I think is a fantastic story. It was a promotional event at a Major League Baseball game where basically it capitalized on the anti-disco trend that was going on at the time. People were getting really pissed off with disco as a musical form. And so their plan was, in the middle of a game, that they would take a bunch of disco records, put them into a big pile in the center of the field with a massive amount of TNT and blow it the fuck up. Thinking it would be great fun. So they put them in a crate in the center of the field and set their charges, blew them all to hell. Now, might seem like a great idea. In theory, turned out not to be. See, a lot of extra people attended that game that night. They normally expected about 20 to 30,000 people. They got over 50,000, most of whom were drunk because they wanted to see explosions and they weren't really there for the game. They were just there for the disco destruction. Once the explosion actually went off, not only did it leave a gigantic crater in the field, but it then spawned a pitch invasion where people like stormed the stands, got onto the field, started ripping up the grass and like tearing off chunks of the field and ran away with it in a drunken rage to the point where the actual game had to be postponed then. The Chicago White Sox had to forfeit the second game to the Detroit Tigers because of this stunt. So I love that.
We've all been drunk stealing grass. It's very common.
On the plus side, though, this is like when it comes to the legacy of this event, it actually signaled the move of disco underground, where it morphed into house music in Chicago. So there you go. Disco became house, which is kind of neat.
That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, in the world of film, which is probably more relevant to us. So, biggest movies of the year. The biggest one by far was Kramer versus Kramer. That made over $100 million in domestically alone. But it's a sign of how wildly different this time was and what an eclectic mix of movies you got back then. Because if I just go, down the list of top 10 domestic hits in America of that year, right? You had Kramer versus Kramer in first place, The Amityville Horror in second, Rocky 2 in third, Apocalypse Now, Star Trek the Motion Picture, you might be familiar more. Alien in sixth place, The Muppet Movie, 10, The Jerk, and Moonraker. So I mean, you've got sci-fi, you've got horror, you've got sporting dramas, you've got two horror movies actually. You've got Bond movies, you've got
sheer health,
dramas.
dude. It just screams health to me. It's like, oh, look at all those options.
Yep. I love it. Also, famous people who were born that year. This was the year that gave us Heath Ledger, R.I.P., Chris Pratt, Jason Momoa, John Krasinski, Aaron Paul, James McAvoy, and Oscar Isaac.
Well.
We're very much into the modern era now where it's like all guys who are still active now. So... yeah, like obviously we've done this in the past, and it's like, who was born this year, and it's like people who are kind of faded out now or not that relevant, but now these are guys very much like still appearing in big movies right now. So we did it. We got into the modern age with this.
We sure have.
Apparently Gary's in chat as well. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Gary.
Hello, buddy.
You just said, it was bad times, but good movies.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we bring our panel in? What do you think?
I think so. It's about time.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Excuse me. Disparu and Angry Badger. Hello,
just
gentlemen.
Out of interest, what happens if you ask MauLer 1 week, should we bring our panel in? And he goes, no.
I've done that before.
That we have tested the theory.
That's when we kill the stream and just...
it's like, it's over now. I gave you your facts.
Just go and have a cup of tea and just call it a night, I guess.
I couldn't believe with your disco thing, when you were like, we put explosives into records. I'm like, surely that's just a bomb with shrapnel. I thought that story was going to go in a very different direction than it did.
I know. It's like, I don't know how people weren't hit by like falling debris and stuff, but I guess that was all right. It was just the drunken rampage afterwards that destroyed half the field.
It was the best bit.
Yeah, we've also got Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett joining us shortly, but he's got to do another show first before he gets here, so he'll be slightly late. But I'm sure we can keep this little party going in the meantime. I guess we should start by talking about the Mario movie. MauLer, you and I have experienced this cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess furnish us with a little bit of background, right? Because you have also seen the first Mario movie, so have I. What was your experience with that, and what did you expect going into this, and then what did you actually get out of it?
I'm not very much a fan of Illumination as a studio, I guess. I don't really think their work is that great. A lot of the time it's very generic, and if that could be the best thing you could say about them a lot of the time. The Mario movie getting made by them, I was like, because I can kind of, like, I think I've seen that movie already. I already know what they're going to do. And I saw it, and you can see our coverage. We were like, they did some stuff okay. There's some stuff in there story-wise. It's like, like the kind of it, but like a lot of it is just pulled and stitched together, and all these choices that are so like hyper mainstream appeal bullshit, like all the pop songs they just shoved in there, all the like original soundtrack that gets butchered into pieces in order to like briefly play on particular levels, like the world and art styles that are just taken from the resources of the original stuff are sort of haphazardly thrown in, and no storyline that can remain coherent. But best part of it, I thought, was just the connection between the brothers, which was kind of not that fantastic, because you get about 20 minutes of it and then a gap in the whole movie. There's like an hour long of them not even being on screen together until they're back, working together to save the world.
Yeah, I would.
Chris Pratt and fucking Seth Rogen. It's like, God, you couldn't. First of all, the original voice actors, you're like, well, I guess we can't have Charles Martinet because that wouldn't make any fucking sense now, would it? But it's like, if all the people you choose, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and he has his stupid laugh, then
yeah,
Jack Black as Bowser, you're just like, God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say is, with this one, if you are like a 7-year-old kid with ADHD and you're a massive fan of Nintendo, you are going to have an absolute blast with this movie. It's going to be everything you've dreamed of. It's just a never-ending cavalcade of action and colors and loud noises and big like pop songs and stuff, stirring music, and a plot that's like, I guess, like simple enough for you to follow and just like get invested in it. So it's fine. Like as a kids movie, I think they'll have a blast with it. If you're the adult that has to take them there, you're probably going to be a bit lost, and you're probably going to be a bit overwhelmed by it, because what I would say is, like, in terms of pacing, this movie just does not fucking let up for 1 second. Not a single scene has a moment to breathe. It's always on to the next thing, the next set piece, the next plot event, the next character exchange. There's never a moment where they just like, slow down a little bit to let a scene happen. And this is like coming from a guy who, I guess, I grew up in like the early 90s. So I got like the sort of Disney Renaissance era of animated movies, stuff like The Lion King and stuff, where, it's fun. It's got like the song and dance numbers. It's got like action sequences and stuff, but it also has a plot and it has character moments and it does mean something. This is very much just like, sugar-coated fucking nonsense for the most part. But for kids, it'll be fine, I guess. A lot of people in chat are asking, like, what's Brie Larson like in it? She's fine.
She's not she's playing in it for that long.
No, she's not. Nobody's in it for that long. That's the weird thing. It's called Super Mario. Like, the brothers themselves, as you alluded to, are hardly in it. It's really Princess Peach's story.
I was actually referring exclusively to the first movie. I didn't got into
the
second
it's this one as well.
But no, the second one's got even more issues. It's like you just said, it's a fucking weird patchwork of a bunch of stuff they clearly prepped for. Like, we need to have this scene, we need to have this scene. It's like, how much work do you want to put in connecting them? They're like, not much. Just Nothing. Get there. Doesn't matter. And it's unfortunate too, because as you just pointed out, we have to have this conversation every single time. People are like, why do you care? It's a kids movie. And it's like, why do you never say that about good kids movies? It's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, it's the only time that it's defensive when it's the bad ones. And it's like, I think it should be better. I always think that everything should be better if it can be, for fuck's sake. Especially if it's this bad.
I think so. And Christ, I'm not going to pretend that like the world of Super Mario is like rich with lore and storytelling and stuff. Like, it's not really like that. It's just there to facilitate fun action scenes. And that's really what you get from this movie as well. But like you say, you could tell a story. You could go a little bit deeper into the characters. It's not really interested in doing that. And like I say, it works fine as a kid's movie. I think they'll have a lot of fun with it. There's a ton of references. There was a few that made me smile. you know, the bit where they have to go through the lava level and stuff, and it's like represented on screen as a video game. It's like, okay, it's fine, it's fun. Fox McCloud was nice to see as a character. I wish he was in it more. He doesn't show up until like the final third of the movie, and he only gets like a couple of dozen lines of dialogue. He's barely in the movie. Yeah, same with like I say, same with the brothers. Like, it's really Peach's story. It's about her trying to get back to her sister and save her and reconnect with her. It's interesting because it neatly sidesteps the problem of having to have a female character get rescued by a man. She doesn't have to get rescued by a man. She gets rescued by a woman in this, so that's fine. It doesn't break any of the golden rules of Hollywood, you know? So that's all good.
We have to concede, right, that Peach is the most powerful by far, by orders of magnitude being in that universe. Like, holy fuck, is she powerful?
I'd assume so, because nothing phases her. She's just got like ninja reflexes.
In this movie, she has like a Kill Bill scene where she takes on like 1,000 enemies and beats all of them, and several bosses. I was just like, calm down. Like this, you know, where you have at one point, she leaves the kingdom arbitrarily. It's really fucking weird. She abandons everybody and doesn't say why. She just goes.
Flies off into space, which she can do apparently.
And she runs the Mushroom Kingdom, and I know it sounds fucking retarded if you don't know what I'm talking about. And then Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi, who is basically like them. He's not like a dog. He's more like an actual full-on character person who has his own agency, that sort of stuff. He can think about things and communicate. Those three have to take her role in Mushroom Kingdom, and they borderline fail. Like, her job is managing all these different like combats that happen. It's all specifically like fights, and the three of them try to do her singular job, and they can't. And I was like, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi can't match up to Princess Peach altogether? This is a bit fucking retarded. But no, she's like a cosmic being with immense power. I don't know why they're doing that. Like, it kind of makes it, because you remember they have to take on like Dry Bones Bowser and Bowser Jr. together. I was like, if only Peach was there, she could have insta-killed them both.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Bowser and his son kind of get a decent amount of screen time as well. And so, like I say, it just all factors into this idea of like, it's not really Mario's movie. Like, the brothers don't really get any character development. They're just along for the ride. It's really between Peach and her sister and Bowser and his son. Because Bowser, at the end of the last movie, was shrunk down to like little tiny Bowser, and they got him hostage. And he's been working on himself to try and be a better person. But then his son, who's like wanting to carry on his legacy, demands that he be that he be handed over. He tries to rescue him. He does eventually break him out. And so he's going along with his son's plans, but he's kind of not that into it because he's like developed a bit of like empathy for Mario and Luigi. But like, it doesn't really go anywhere because eventually he just decides, nah, fuck it, I'm just evil again.
Well, yeah, the summary of the story is, Mario, please release me. I'm a changed man. I'll be good. And Mario's like, no. And then finally he's like, okay, fine. They release him, and it's like, oh, he's evil. And you're like, oh, damn it.
Who could have predicted this?
It's very just like, okay. And then the first thing you'll think is like, yeah, but it's for kids. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like, you can do better than this.
Well, we were all kids, I'm reliably informed, once upon a time, right? And we were probably not as retarded as you might think. Like, kids are actually surprisingly savvy when it comes to movies and bullshit and stuff. And I don't know, if you want to say like, okay, this movie's for 5-year-olds, fine. Okay, they're not going to be analyzing it on any sort of deep level, and they're not going to be expecting any real storytelling. But like, any older kids are maybe going to expect something a bit deeper or a bit more cohesive.
Well, we were obviously graced with the incredible Bob Hoskins Mario movie when we were younger, so if only the kids could experience that.
Dennis Hopper alone.
When you say it's simple and for kids, would you say it's similar to like Deadpool and Wolverine? Because I like that movie, even though I knew I was being manipulated via nostalgia. Is it that kind of effect?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, because it's like, I feel if you just like allow it to wash over you and don't think about it at all, you'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
And again, if you're a Nintendo fan as well, and you remember all the references, especially if you played Super Mario Galaxy, you'll get so much of what's in this.
Because I can, like, if it's meant for Nintendo fans, and it's like, well, Nintendo fans will like this because of nostalgia, I could see why that's a perfectly good argument of like, well, it is a good film for the audience that it's intended for. And I'm not sure that's a bad thing, necessarily. It's like, yeah, it could be better and appeal to more people, but at the end of the day, if you're just pleasing the audience that you intend to please, you've kind of succeeded in your intention, surely.
Well, there's going to be countless movies you think are absolutely worthless that probably achieve that, though, right?
Well, yeah, but I think one of the issues of modern Hollywood is that you get this attitude that everything's got to be for everybody. Like, Barbie shouldn't be for me. It's not. I'm not the target audience. So if it pleased me, like if John Wick came in, like I said before, if John Wick came in and wiped everyone out, I would really like it, but you would be failing at your intention. And so if Nintendo fans do just want something full of nostalgia and that kind of thing, and don't actually want this complex plot that could distract away from doing all the Nintendo stuff, you may actually water down the thing for the intended audience to get a wider
complex plot. I mean, all we're gunning for, make it good. You know, Deadpool, Wolverine, you can keep all the payoffs you enjoy and not make it stupid. You can make it smart. It doesn't need to be complex.
If I
my favorite movies are simple.
Well, I mean, if I had to place this in terms of comparable movies, this is on par with the Minecraft movie. In fact, it might be slightly less cohesive than that.
Whoa! But
even the Minecraft people didn't like that, though.
Yeah, but it made shit tons of money, and
exactly.
And
I think
the actual core fan base did love it. Loads of Minecraft fans adored that movie.
Yeah,
but like, as opposed to a Sonic movie, this is nowhere near the level of like heart and writing. Not that was
it's not near that. No. Because, like, as I said earlier, like the pacing is insane with this.
Yeah.
I don't think I could even give you a 3-act structure to this movie because it's all just one act because it never lets up. It's like just a beeline to the end. I had no sense that like at any point there's like stakes or there's any sort of rising tension or there's a big setback or anything. It just all rockets towards that finale. Again, the kids will love it. Like, because it's just colorful and bright and like happy clappy and loads of like things just getting thrown at you constantly. If you're looking for any sort of like storytelling, you're probably looking in the wrong place.
Get out of luck.
Yeah, but like I say, I mean, I think it'll probably make $1 billion. So, you know,
sure will.
Not bad, I guess. If people enjoy it, no problem.
Yep.
Let me. What's this? Yeah, I was just gonna like look through a couple of super chats here. Are they?
Get some opinions from the people, perhaps.
I know. Well, people are talking about this quite a bit. Yeah, it's like if they like Teletubbies, they'll like that, I guess. It's kind of the level you're at. Yeah. Galaxy's the one I never played. I can't tell if I care or not. I mean, you know. If you're an adult, you won't care about this. This is for kids. 100% a kids movie. If you've got kids, take them. They'll love it. They'll thank you for it. Otherwise, it's you can miss it. You know. I did love though. Everyone's bad take factory. Grace Randolph had an interesting take on this movie. I'm going to see if I can bring it up here.
She's been on a roll recently with everything. She has.
Incredible.
Continue to feel that Bowser and now Bowser Jr. are a little bit too actually evil. Like it goes beyond cartoon.
Too evil, Bowser.
I mean, the cartoon villainy is always the really over the top evil to the point of absurdity. And she's like, no, it's gone beyond even that.
Their plan in this movie is to blow up the universe.
Yeah, so, they've got a gun that's going to blow up the universe.
It's just a Marvel movie then.
Which, by the way, Drake, I didn't realize this until I thought about it later. The heroes never actually find that out.
No,
there's no part in the movie where they know. It's like the rebels going to destroy the Death Star, and they're like, I assume it's bad because it's called the Death Star.
Yeah,
like, I don't really know what it does though.
Because their plan is to get to Rosalina, and that's really it.
Yeah, because Rosalina is the sort of power source for this gun, but they never find out what the gun even does. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Oh. It's crazy.
Villainy. I think maybe because they kind of mimic like the toxic manosphere that is like, I don't know if it's becoming more and more popular, if it's maybe finally reached its breaking point, but you know, I see a lot of similar talking points there. And the movie at first seemed like it was going to be
Oh, Grace, never stop. Never stop.
Look at that thumbnail.
I know. It's like she gets more wacky looking. I'm going to see if I can just call up a moment.
If it's maybe.
I mean, she gets more wacky looking in every video.
I was going to say, I feel like I've never seen her apply a makeup like that.
It's like the Simpsons makeup gun on
it's like the
full.
makeup shotgun. Yeah.
Oh no!
Also, that gives me anxiety. The amount of tabs she has. Like, does she go in that extreme order? Like, Jesus.
She always has to have like an order of talking points, because I think she would genuinely forget what she's even talking about if she didn't have that to keep her right.
And sometimes she has like this little manual arrow that she drags with her mouse down to the next point. But my favorite, there was the one. I can't remember what topic it was about, but she had pictures popping up all over the screen, and by the end of it, there was just a little box for her face surrounded by all the different topics. It's like she's slowly shrinking.
It's like that Ready Player One thing where it's like, we've discovered we can put this many ads in before it triggers a seizure in our players. But yeah, man, it's like I never got toxic manosphere vibes from Bowser and his son. Like his son just wants to like be evil like his dad. It's not that deep.
Bowser told him a story when he was young that we're going to dominate the whole universe one day, and then he's like, "I did it, Dad. I'm not sure how, but he managed to create the whole everything." And then he's like, "Yeah, we're going to take over the universe." It's pretty simple. I don't know if has Andrew Tate talked about wanting to take over the universe with a giant gun.
He's never talked about universe. Blowing up the universe. Yeah, he's never suggested that. I just love it. Grace never stops, man. Honestly. So yeah, I mean, I guess if we had to give our final verdict on Super Mario Galaxy, it's fun and goofy and stupid if you're a kid. If you're an adult, you're probably going to be a bit lost with it.
Be a waste of time as an adult, yeah.
Is it well, here's a question, MauLer. Is it a redemption arc for Brie Larson? Is this her ticket back? Is she going to be
barely in it? I don't know what to say. She plays Rosalina, who has like 3 scenes in which words are said.
I think she's off the naughty list. She said very nice things in the lead up. She said everything you're supposed to say, how she's been a fan, and she might not be on the good list, but she's at least off the
she
bad
seemed
list.
Happy, I think, in the clips that I saw on Twitter, like where she's at the premiere and stuff. It's like, okay, like, you know, everyone knows your favorite video game is Nintendo, so well done, Brie. Apparently.
She's been on an improving thing for a while. Like, so when journalists set her up and you're like, this is a bad question, she just diverts it or she reflects it back at them. In all the Nintendo controversy, I couldn't recognize her. She'd gone to like a far more feminine look that was entirely different than she was during Captain Marvel. So I think she is. I don't know whether Nintendo made her change like her appearance because they wanted more traditional look, or whether that's her own going in a new direction. But yeah, she's far better now than she used to be.
I think Ryan did his job and he fixed her eventually. Took a while, but
good job, Ryan.
Nice. I don't know
acceptable.
Will it do anything for her career? I don't know, because it's like you're just a voiceover at the end of the day. Like, it's not like your face is up there on the silver screen or anything. Yeah.
It might do more than the MCU did.
I mean, Christ, that did so much damage. Let's answer a couple of questions here. I love this one. Your boy Zach hates One Piece, but he loves Starfleet Academy and the Acolyte. Does he automatically take any opposite position that you and Gary out of spite? Almost every post he makes now is just seething at all you guys. I'm assuming so. Yeah, like it seems to be that is his position. So whatever we like, he'll just hate, and vice versa. So it's like we could do a bit of reverse psychology with him. Like Starfleet Academy, it's the greatest thing in the history of the universe.
Damn.
If he likes Willow, I'm with him.
Everyone likes Willow. What do you
mean?
Yeah. But yeah, it's just hilarious. Like, carry on, dudes. Like, never stop. Drinker, good interview with Andy Greer. I think you mean Weir. He seemed to like he would fit in nice with the group. A potential panel guest, maybe. I mean, I don't think he's really like here to do open bar and stuff like that. It's more like to talk with him about his movies and his books and stuff. But yeah, it was absolute pleasure to talk to him. I could have happily listened to him chat all night about like neutrinos and like faster than light travel and all that stuff. Like the mind-bending physics behind a lot of this stuff is amazing. But yeah, good fun to talk to him. So
best part about all that was Hollywood Reporter and Variety having to recognize you and say the Critical Drinker podcast. Well,
I know. I feel like Voldemort that finally got named. You're giving me power.
I don't think he realized how many people pay attention to you, like from actual mainstream, and that anything he said would be quoted and used.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It's easy, like when you're just chatting away, to like lose track of being live in front of people, and you end up just having fun. And I think that was unfortunate, but
he didn't say anything wrong. He was right in all of his criticisms, even,
Well, yeah, I mean, like, Starfleet Academy is shit, and Alex Kurtzman is a retard. Well, he didn't say that, but I'm going to say it. It's like,
I will co-sign.
I don't have to please anyone in Hollywood. It's great.
Well, it's also one of those things which is just objective. You can tell by viewing numbers. These things aren't. They shouldn't be controversial, because it doesn't matter if you can like a series that no one else watches, but you still have to admit no one else watches it, and therefore it's the wrong kind of show for the IP.
Which is great watching them try to explain, because you go through all the stages of grief of like, okay, so we're just a vocal minority, but then like the Robert Picardos will come out and be like, well, they didn't advertise it enough. That's why no one watched it. It's like, yeah, Robert.
I did like, well, I did like this as well, where it's like, we were talking about Grace Randolph being a bad take factory and stuff. Well, she does get it right occasionally, where she says, this is from Fandom Pulse, but it's like one of her tweets that they're quoting. Grace Randolph calls for Alex Kurtzman to be replaced as the head of Star Trek. Quote, Kurtzman is totally running Star Trek into the ground and should be replaced. Now, interesting, because she was the one who was pitching a hissy fit at guys like Andy Weir, saying the same thing, although much less extreme than what she said. But now suddenly it's okay when she says it. I mean, that's interesting how that works.
I think Grace would be the target market for new Trek. Like, if anyone should like it, it would be her. And so this is one of the things they keep finding. They make it for the audience, but the audience don't like it themselves. That they're trying to get. I think there's some kind of thing of like there's a mismatch between what people say they want and virtue signal over and what they actually desire in stories, which is far more reflexive and instinctual. And that's one of Hollywood's greatest problems. They are listening to people, just the wrong people.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, yeah, it's fun watching people like that just like short circuit their own brains, like trying to make sense of like their own wildly conflicting and often contradictory ideas.
Deep down, they know what the issue was, but they don't want to have to admit that we were right. And you can kind of see it when that's why I love looking at the, like, Star Trek subreddit, because they talk amongst themselves, and seeing them try to work out, like, the Jaden character existed solely to be the gay Klingon who wore skirts, and then in addition to all that, didn't want to be a warrior. And they know that's all surface level. When you explain it to them, like, well, yeah, but it's like, no, yeah, but that's what it is.
It's like that mindset of like never apologize. It's like, I know I'm wrong, but because it's you, I'm not going to admit defeat on this one. So
many such cases, yeah.
I don't think fixed. I also don't think they're capable of understanding like the second order consequences. So by removing the warrior, you are now removing the warrior masculine perspective from the entire show. So if you want a debate between diplomacy and force, there's no one to take that other side of the debate anymore, and you just end up pushing one idea, which just doesn't work in Star Trek.
Well, that's when you substitute politics for identity politics and still expect to be able to tell good stories. It doesn't work like that, because it negates your ability to explore interesting ideas, because it's all hamstrung by this idea like, well, everyone has to fit into these specific boxes that we've assigned for them, and the entire story has to revolve around that. But that doesn't make for interesting moral questions of
they're not that was the joke. They're not questioning anything. They're telling you what's already been resolved in their minds.
Yeah, and you question something when you're in search of the truth, but they've said multiple times they would rather be morally correct than factually true. So there is no investigation. It's just, we're already arrived at the correct answer. Here it is. And they think that makes a good story.
And people don't like being preached to, and you can sniff it out. Even people who don't know about woke or any of that shit, they just, wow, I'm being preached to. I'm being lectured like I'm in school.
I'm not even sure it's about being preached to, because I don't think anyone had a problem with, like, in the 90s stuff, there was always the Christian message of, like, just don't steal from people. No one really had a problem with that, because everyone agrees with it. But when you're being preached about something you don't agree with, well, that's a different story.
Yeah. I did like this one as well. If Andy would have told you that he didn't like Landman, for example, nobody would have pressured him to apologize to Taylor Sheridan. The fact that all these people are causing a scene to protect Kurtzman and his messaging is a disgrace. That's all it is. It's just the usual virtual signaling bullshit that you always get. You know, so someone dared to step out of line. They must be stamped down and made to atone for their sins. Like, okay, it's not going to change the sentiment, though. Like, everyone knows that show is fucking garbage, and everyone laughs at it.
And stamping down one person works when it is one person, but the worse things get, the less money is around, the more people are getting fired. And everyone's fighting for their jobs, the more people are going to speak out about it, and then it'll just be you'll lose control of it. And they have to start thinking about what they're going to do then, because they will be the ones on the out rather than the ones on the in, trying to fix things.
Let's see where Alex Kurtzman is a year from now. When his contract runs out. Let's just see how he's doing. We'll check in on him. How does that sound? What's this? Do you think Grace is doing a Colbert Report type character? I didn't know her name a few months ago. I think Grace is a concept rather than a human being. I don't know. Is she playing a character? Is this like some
I don't think so.
Weird, exaggerated caricature of a human being?
That's the if that was like a Jiminy Glick type thing, that would be the most impressive acting I've ever seen to stay this consistently in character.
Because as far as I know, like she's apparently quite reliable. She's quite capable when it comes to her box office breakdowns. Like she understands the system. She understands like the actual finances of Hollywood, and her box office analyses are quite good. It's just her media takes that are absolute dog shit.
I think because I started to think this when she was doing the whole was it the Golden Globes controversy with the Tourette's. When that came about, because she said one thing and then she did a stream where she was trying to like double down but also change her opinion more to be in line with everyone else, and it struck me as someone that wants to be where everyone else is. I want to be the person at the head of the pack that also everyone agrees with, and so she's constantly trying to predict where everyone else will stand, which will lead to you making some really major mistakes, as opposed to just I have an opinion, everyone can kind of predict what it is and I'm going my own route kind of thing, which I think is why she's all over the place, as she's trying to predict other people's opinions rather than just giving her own.
I think so. It's funny watching her try to like rationalize, conflicting ideas in her head when she doesn't have the programming to rely on. I think when she's talking about, various like Star Wars or Marvel properties where you've got like a girl boss character that's wildly unpopular, and she has to reconcile that with like the programming that says that she's never allowed to criticize anything like that. And you can see how hard she's trying to like obfuscate it and like circumvent that problem and then just get onto something else. But like she never quite manages to do it. It's kind of fun to watch though, because like she's really struggling with that.
This happened with Amazon's AI. They tried to teach it like woke politics and it deleted itself. Like it started to delete sections of its own memory because of all the contradictions, and computers can't handle that. And so you do have to be, there is a certain level of intelligence to actually convince yourself of all these untruths and hold them in your mind at the same time. And it's one of the reasons they're like, well, don't think about anything too deeply, because you will be forced into these interesting questions where you have to decide. And again, go back to that's what Star Trek was. It was what you've got an idea. What about the bounds and the exceptions of that idea? And that's what people find interesting. But to her, it would just be stressful. As I've got to adapt these two ideas.
MauLer, let me ask you a question, because I'm reliably informed that you're a bit of a fan of the old Resident of Evil stuff.
Never heard of it.
Nah, I figured that. Yeah, but I've seen you playing it. I know you're into it. Right. So you're probably aware that Zach Kreger is working on a Resident Evil movie that's going to be coming out later this year. And it's been getting a bit of attention recently because he's been talking about, a little bit of plot details, a little bit of like hints about what he's going to be doing in it. And we know the following, apparently. He's already beaten Resident Evil 9 twice. That's his experience with Resident Evil. He's the biggest worshiper of the games, apparently, and his movie is not breaking the rules of the games. I don't know how many rules the games really established, because they kind of like change with each game. But anyway, the film's got a much bigger budget than Weapons, and Kreger was given carte blanche to reinvent Resident Evil with this film. But most crucially, it does not adapt to any specific story from the games and contains no characters from any of the games. Wow, can't wait to watch this Resident Evil movie that doesn't contain any of the characters, scenarios, storylines, or ideas from the games. It's going to be a blast.
So, like, this guy who made Weapons, and you're like, could the guy who made Weapons make a good Resident Evil? It's like, yeah, maybe. I could see that working. And it's like, all right, okay, so what do we know? And it's like, it's not going to have anything to do with Resident Evil. I'm like, oh, why is it called Resident Evil? And it's like, oh, fuck it. Why not? And you're like, how is this any different from the past a billion attempts at adapting Resident Evil where they have nothing to do with Resident Evil outside of, hey, the Mila Jovovich first one that had a mansion, it had like special forces in it.
The second one had Raccoon City in it.
And Nemesis.
Stuff.
Look at him go.
Nemesis.
It's worse than that. How is this different than any other zombie movie, which also has nothing to do with Resident Evil?
Exactly.
Shit, man. We don't even know if it's going to have zombies in it at this point.
Oh, it has zombies in it.
At least it's got zombies in it.
Well, I mean, that's one step in the right direction.
So I was able to read one of the first drafts of the script from him, from someone we know. He's a connoisseur of things, but you totally don't know who gave it to me. Anyway, I read the whole thing. It deals with an organ transplant delivery guy who gets tasked to deliver this very important package, and the end it's at the same time as Resident Evil 2. So he's going basically to Raccoon City at the height of the zombie outbreak, and he's pursued by a tyrant type creature, and it builds the closer he gets. So it's like he's trying to capture moments from the games and inventory management, and there's zombies.
Do you see how you could have said he's an organ transplanter and his location? Mushroom Kingdom. Who's he getting chased by? Bowser. Yeah. And you're like, okay. What is that going to do with anything?
Is this some kind of is it a contractual thing? Is it a licensing thing where it's okay, you can call it Resident Evil and you can theoretically set it in the Resident Evil universe, but you're not allowed to use any of the characters or ideas from the games? Or is this just every director, every writer just has to put their stamp on it, where they have to just essentially tell their own story that just so happens to be set in this universe and it's tangentially related to it, but effectively it's just a generic horror movie that happens to be called Resident Evil? Because the worst example of this was the Netflix show, where it's that is clearly a fucking high school drama with zombies in it that you just called Resident Evil. It's got nothing to do with it.
I think it's an ego thing, because to adapt somebody else's work, you essentially have to say that work is better than anything that you could create. You have to put your ego aside and go, this is far more important. I have to... It was a Peter Jackson quote. I have to put their values into it, not mine. But George R.R. Martin was complaining that people don't like Star Trek and Star Wars. But of course these people are changing these IPs, because a creative would go insane if they couldn't change it and put themselves into the work and make it their own. And I think that is... They look at these games and go, they're just video games. Movies are way more artistic than video games, and therefore I have to put my superior talent than some game dev. And the moment you disrespect the source material, it's over. You'll never make it good.
We've been stuck in that fucking era for ages. Video games being laughed at by filmmakers being like, "Oh, look at your little jump on the right platform." Ooh. Fuck you.
So in the script, at one point, the main character comes across one of the scientists that's also trying to get where he's going, and an Umbrella mercenary operative with them, and that was described as a male character and really tough. And when I was watching they caught some of the filming of them actually filming it, and that mercenary is now a female mercenary. So you could already see the changes from the original script.
You gotta love it. So
so something that bothers me about this, right? If Drinker, I imagine if you were asked, go make a PR statement about how you're about to direct the new Resident Evil adaptation, you'd be considering gotta be kind of careful with what I say here, because it translates a lot to the fandom about what my intentions are and what I know. So let's say you were like, what do you think I should say? And we had a little chat about it. I'd be like, probably reference the franchise as a whole, but you need to stick to the legendary foundations to an extent, right? You're familiar with the originals and you played them as a kid and you know this franchise inside out. I wouldn't recommend starting with, I played the newest one twice. It's okay. A lot of people did, because it's a mainstream major release of zombie game. What do you know about Resident Evil? It's I'm a huge worshiper of the games. It's really?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, and you're I'm such a worshiper, I will not be adapting anything.
Yeah, it's like Ryan Johnson saying I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, or Phoebe Waller-Bridge saying I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan. Well, fucking talk is cheap. Okay, it's going to come down to what you actually produce.
He did that video, you remember, where he was like, look, I've got a whole library of books to do with Star Wars. I care about every movie that's ever come out. And it's okay. What do you think Star Wars is, though?
Yeah.
And in this case, it's what do you think Resident Evil is? Well, it's whatever I want it to be. You're oh.
He's trying to hit the tone of all the games, which is, I guess, could be great if you do it, but I don't like, because it's very solo at first, and then when he's going through the first area, it's kind of like Resident Evil 4, where he's going through the abandoned village, and then as you get closer to Raccoon, it gets bigger and bigger till he actually gets in the city, and it's a full-on outbreak. But it's gonna piss everyone off what he's actually carrying and the resolution at the end. You know, he has those fun endings. It's another one of those.
I almost think, like, if you're going to do a Resident Evil movie, it needs to be some super low budget, like, indie movie. Just find like some fucking 19th century manor house that you can shoot in, and just have some traps, some puzzles, a bit of exploration, loads of zombies to be shot.
It's funny.
Like, all you need is a lab set basically to end it. Right?
You know,
it's
weapons.
so easy.
Weapons did like the 4 sort of, they did the girl's story and then Josh Brolin's story, and then he kept like interweaving and showing more context and ending more. It's like that's kind of almost perfect for Resident Evil. You could run either Jill or Chris's story first and then the alternative. And if you want to, I guess you could do maybe Barry's and Wesker's if you really wanted to go that way direction. But you only really need the 2, and you can have it be like you do first, like 30 minutes of one, 30 minutes of the other, and then the rest of the film is both of them together or something, if you want to try and adapt it to more of a film.
The novelization of Resident Evil 1 by S.D. Perry actually does that. It amalgamates both campaigns into one sort of cohesive narrative where they're both exploring and they're both getting like separate paths basically that take them to the lab at the end where they converge. And I think that's perfect. Simple stuff. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. Because if you want, ultimately, if it's Resident Evil, if you slap the name Resident Evil on it, you're appealing to the Resident Evil fan base. Anyone outside of that, like normies, not going to know what Resident Evil is, and so they're not necessarily going to care. Those are the people you need to care about. Those are the people you need to appeal to. You almost
want to let him know. It's like, dude, it's been so bad on adaptation for this. They will go fucking into a frenzy if you get it even close to adapting it. Actually respecting it in any way will make the fans be like, oh shit, they're actually doing it. Oh my god.
The big oh shit moment in it in the beginning is he's like, it's rather low, like budget wise, you can tell just from being on a solo road in snowy mountains, and he crashes because zombie in the middle of the road. When he's searching the overturned police car, he pulls out a jacket, and on the back it says Raccoon City Police, and in parentheses it's like, this is the oh shit moment. So that's the level that we're going to be getting.
Okay.
Yes, that's the level we're going to get, is the Raccoon City Police jacket.
What's funny is being connected to Raccoon City is like a given. That's like, well, yeah, of course. Moving on. Like, what have you actually got?
Yeah.
It's so weak and it's so unnecessary. It's like, I don't know. It's like watching a guy like try to get through a door, and like you've given him the fucking key, and instead of that, he tries to headbutt his way through the door.
Yeah. And it's like, it's got a bigger budget than weapons, and you're like, doesn't even need a bigger budget than weapons. So it's just like, okay, more money to waste, I suppose, because it's like, oh, you got carte blanche, you can do whatever you want, and I'm going to choose to do what everyone always does with Resident Evil. Like, whoa,
all the expenses at the end. It's a deserted road, and then he goes to like a little, like it's a farmhouse, kind of like little mansion farmhouse thing that he has to search. He's being pursued by the original monster that starts mutating, so it's like being chased by the tyrant. And it's not until he gets into Raccoon City where the budget would have to go up, because that's when you've got the full outbreak going, and presumably Claire and Leon at the other part doing their thing, because it's at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't have necessarily been against like telling other stories in Raccoon City during the outbreak. Like you could,
that's what it feels like. A Resident Evil story. Yeah.
But like it's got to intersect with the main plot line. It has to. Otherwise, what's the point?
What Disparu said, I wish it was, because I totally get the whole like, I don't want to fucking tell their story, I want to tell my own story, which is an annoying thing they got to overcome. But I wish there was some pride to be taken in like the actual process of adapting, like converting the OG Resident Evil into a film, and then the ways you can be so creative as a filmmaker. For example, Drinker, right? The loading screen doors. It's like, how am I getting that into a film? It's like, well, you probably won't be, but you can have a nod at some point. The first door that they open significantly in the mansion, you get a shot that's of mainly the door, and you just somewhat darken the sides, and it opens up into an abyss, and then they walk through. It's like, you get all those fun things like that, and you just spend a lot of time incorporating all of it, hit all the major memorable parts. I mean, how could you resist having Jill Sandwich like being in the actual fucking movie? It would be awesome. And then there's so much to work with. And then I hesitate to say it, I know, but there's so much to improve from like the OG story and how it runs, you can add loads of shit that makes it even more awesome. And like Wesker's so much fun to work with, all the like the crazy, insane things that happen in that mansion. And if you ran the first story and there's all these weird mysteries in terms of like, why is that there? What's that doing then? And the second story actually like shows the other side to it and stuff. There's so much potential. It's not too expensive, built-in audience, be a really cool fucking movie. And it's a foundation for a franchise if you want to tempt the studios that way. And yet here we are once again. Like we're gonna be like, probably won't do fantastically. And then we'll have to wait another few years before they try again.
And arguably, it might damage Kreger's career as well, because he's an up-and-coming director for sure. He's not necessarily established. And so a high-profile flop like this could be like really detrimental for him.
I do wonder whether he's been like a victim of his own success, though. But just to the door comment, in the Underworld trailer, the first one, there is actually a scene of them just opening it. It's just got Kate Beckinsale's ass in the middle, which I think would improve the Underworld scene. The Resident Evil scene. But yeah, you can absolutely do like opening into some big, impressive hallway kind of thing through a door. It's easily done. But I do... I wonder how they cast these kind of people. Because if it was someone lesser known who hadn't come off like Weapons that was really praised, they probably would have been more constrained and be like, no, we want something that's like this. This is kind of outline for the thing. But because they got him as a director, they're like, we trust you. You can do anything. And that kind of destroys the story. There's always necessity is the mother of invention. I think that we would get far better things if people were given less control. If the creator was like, no, here is the outline, adapt the script in the games, and just put it on the screen, I think would actually lead to more creativity, because then, yeah, you can do your stamp, but you're on rails, and so you've got to do around the edges and improve the peripheral bits rather than the main content. Whereas if you're given a blank page... it could literally go anywhere about anything. I think it's too much freedom for people.
I could see normies liking it. I could see Zach Kreger fans liking it. And then people who know the lore of the games will be like, that's not the G virus. It's the... or whatever the hell. Because he's going to, it broad appeal, but not like... we're just never going to get the arcade mountain mansion with stars. Like, it's just never going to happen.
It just reminds me of the amount of times we're up to like 1,000 at this point of some creator being like, I'm gonna take it my own direction. It's like, oh, great. Could you maybe for once try taking it the direction of what made it popular, why people like it? Could we try that just one time? And they're like, yeah, they should try that. Not me though. I'm gonna go my own direction.
Yeah, it's like I don't. You're kind of specifically brought in to not put your own creative stamp on this one. You're doing an adaptation. You know, it's kind of like with Lord and Miller when they did Project Hail Mary, right? They were asked to adapt a book that was very popular, and so they adapted it faithfully for the most part. Like it certainly it simplifies a few things in terms of like the really technical science aspects of it, but the storyline is beat for beat exactly like the books. Perfect. That's what people want. We don't need you to like go off in a wildly different direction and put your stamp on it and tell your own story. That's not what you're there for. You're there to adapt the source material and turn that thing, that book, that video game into a movie which as closely as possible resembles that source material. It's not that fucking difficult. It's just so frustrating. And I think
that's the part that kills me is that there's so many things that we love that we know will be like, oh, that is tough to adapt. Like I think BioShock is very fucking tough to adapt. But Resident Evil 1, it's not crazy. You'll be okay. It's not going to be too hard.
When you've literally got a game that's based around B-movie horror flicks, right, and turned it into a video game, like turning it back into a movie should be like the easiest thing in the world. You know what it's based on. You know the kind of films that it's based on. It's based on like Night of the Living Dead and shit. Do that. Do that again with the plot of Resident Evil, the game woven into it. Easy. You've done it. You've achieved your aim. Okay, maybe it's not going to be the most artistically fucking revolutionary thing ever made. We don't need it to be because that's not what the game is.
It is going to be funny though, because we had Silent Hill earlier in the year. We're going to have Resident Evil again at the end of this one. It's like traveling back to the early 2000s.
Yeah, it's
living
like
in a time warp.
We're going to keep doing it again and again. And this is the funny thing, right? We're literally just been talking about Super Mario Galaxy tonight, right? That movie's going to probably make $1 billion. It's dumb as fuck, but like it's faithful to the games. And so that's exactly what the audience wants. You are catering to your audience. Your audience for that is like little kids or like adults who like grew up with the Mario games. Great. There's a million references for them, all the member berries in the world. With this, Your audience is people who've been playing the Resident Evil games for years, if not decades. Cater to them. It's not hard.
I'm with you completely, but I will say the Mila Jovovich ones, they fucking did not really cater to the fans at all. They kept fucking going. Like,
well, I agree.
Making money.
Well, I agree, but they made
games.
money because they were
the movies.
They made money because they were cheap to make.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
None of them had big budgets, so
No,
they just became generic action movies.
I do want to say, I still found them entertaining on a stupid level. Like they were
just
retarded.
action movies, popcorn flicks.
Yeah, but you didn't find them entertaining as Resident Evil films. You found them
Certainly
entertaining
not. No,
dumb as fuck action horror.
Well, if you remember right, so like I didn't know about the OG's context, so I was watching the first, second, and fucking hell, the third is like by comparison.
The third's
to the
awful.
game.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
I didn't know, but when Leon arrived in that franchise, I was like, "What the fuck is this? What's going on? Like, what has this got to do with Resident Evil 4? What?"
Did you like when Barry Burton arrived in like the 5th movie?
Yeah,
when he's like a character from the first game.
I think it's the 5th one or whatever, where it's batshit crazy. They just keep having insane. It's about as crazy as pacing as the new Mario movie. It's just non-stop insanity.
The second one never stops. I think at one point she gets hit with a rocket launcher and just survives.
Yeah.
And even in that, at the end, they make her essentially a god character and just have to strip her of her powers instantly because, like, we can't make a movie around this.
Do you remember the Clone Army?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's right. Those movies
wipe them out.
Because
do you appreciate them
in the next movie?
Yeah. Do you appreciate them in any way to do with Resident Evil? It's like no, they evolved into their own insane thing that I kind of miss.
I honestly think the filmmakers like genuinely didn't expect to get another movie. Every time they did a new one, it was like, oh, really? You want more? I mean, I guess we can come up with a new story. Like, we're gonna have to erase half the things we did in the last one.
Sure. We made her an amalgamation.
They wanted to do it with Monster Hunter, right? Because they made one of those, but it didn't work out as well. And I'm just like, just make more Resident Evils, okay, you guys? It's just funny. People will turn up.
We're gonna have like a 70-year-old Mila Jovovich just like getting wheeled out to like do another one. What's this here? Can we stop calling Hollywood journalists actual journalists? They just lie about what they are. A paid propaganda news outlet is what I call the PPNO, and they aren't even fans of the franchise. I mean, most of the time, pretty much. Yes, exactly. Do you guys watch the World Cup? The memes when England lost were of Germans laughing at a crying English boy and of the Queen in hell over Doom Eternal screaming for Diana. Jesus, that went dark.
To be fair, I think our memes were also about a crying English boy. Remember when he was advertising Walker's crisps?
What?
Oh, was that Gary Lineker
crying over the crisps for like 3 years?
Oh no, that was Gaza, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gary Lineker. He was renowned as the guy that was. Isn't it the same person?
What is it?
I don't know my football people.
I think Disparu, you might be slightly behind us. There might be a slight delay there. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there.
I can hear you. Fine.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think you were just glitching a little bit. Yeah, there was one of Paul Gascoigne where he was like bawling his eyes out.
Yeah, they put like little plastic tubes under his eyes and then just squirt water everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Drinker, will you ever go on the Joe Rogan podcast? Oh yeah, they're like banging on my door constantly telling me
I keep buying them off. You know?
It's just like, nah, Joe, leave me alone.
You've been mentioned on there before, like Kurt Metzger and a couple. Like he has to have at least heard your name, and all it takes is for him to see something.
I mean, I guess like I guess
there's a passing interest in Resident Evil. You can probably talk to him about it.
Yeah. I'd have to travel out to Texas, isn't he? That's
he'd be very into talking about the absolute, takeover of all of our pop culture and destruction of our heroes and why that was done. Because it's like he gets it, but I've never, it's never really explained to him fully. Like there's a reason all of them did the same thing.
Yeah, if Mario was meant for kids, then what did they have to say about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish? That movie had layers.
Fucking love that movie.
Layers. There's a good movie that's like a kids movie with action and stuff. Wow, it's got a lot for you to think about as well.
That's the thing. If we had said in the opening of this, because that had come out like, oh, what a fucking great movie, everyone should go see it. Very rare that you'll have someone go, guys, why are you praising that? It's for kids. It's like that just doesn't happen.
It's good.
Well, and kids movies kids entertainment did used to be better. I remember when I was a kid, Beast Wars has talk about fate and whether it's even worth living if fate is real, because what's the point of making decisions if they're already predetermined? And so this guy sets up a thing where either he dies or he makes his own decision and proves the prophecy wrong. It's like, you would never have that in a kid show today. That is way too complicated.
Beast Wars.
Oh, their tiny minds, yeah.
Beast Wars was all... I watched it, was like 28 or something again, and it was still held up.
Yeah.
Cheers and hail to the ever insightful bar. Just wanted to show some love since I watched all your shit. Love you guys and keep on keeping on. Thank you very much. What's your opinion on forming an opinion on media via MauLer breakdowns? Lots of bad media never watched but can explain why it's bad. Should I watch them for intellectual integrity? See then say bad. So basically, yeah, even if MauLer, for example, breaks down at length why a movie or a TV show is terrible, is it worth watching to then like form your own opinions based on what he said? I mean, if you want to like give your time to it, sure, I guess.
As long as
like,
you're honest about it. Like if you're talking to someone and you say like, I think it's awful, and then they go like, oh, you know, how was it when you saw it? And you're just like, no, I didn't see it. I've just seen someone break it down. If you tell, like, if you're honest about that, because yeah, even my videos where I cover every sentence for 10 years each, it's like, I still will have, you know, created something that gives you my perspective more than anything. I'll do what I can to present it to you in a manner that doesn't make me like hyper biased or whatever. But yeah, as long as you're clear about it. I mean, the thing is, you know, you can say like you got your opinion from a YouTuber, which people use as an insult. But it's like, well, but if they did a really detailed job, can you counter the points being raised? I mean, that's what's the more important part, I guess. Because part of that is the reason why I wouldn't recommend a lot of the stuff I break down. It's like, you know, should I see Multiverse of Madness before I watch your videos? Like, you don't need to, and you shouldn't. Because it's shit.
Spend all day explaining to them why you didn't like it, what you wanted, and what you would have done differently. And at the end of the day, they go, yeah, but I still liked it.
Yeah, okay. I think it's what it's for. Like, if you want to have an opinion on the movie, like your own opinion, you should watch it because you can't form your own otherwise. But I see the videos I do more as just entertainment. So it's not to give you an opinion about the thing. It's my opinion in hopefully as entertaining a way as possible.
I often see it as an avenue to just talk about writing as well. Just like how to properly do it, how to not do it like this.
I think so. I mean, when I do a mixture of things on my channel, like I could just, if it's a new movie and it's like a strictly yay or nay kind of situation, like, is this worth your time to watch? I'll do a pretty like short surface level review where it's like, okay, I can just give you a brief overview of the plot, what I thought was good, what was bad, and overall, is it worth your time? And like go from there, and you can make your own decisions then if you want to watch it or not. There's also the option to do like more detailed breakdowns of like movies that are older and like ones that I just want to like discuss at length, whether it's like some aspect of filmmaking, whether it's like the overall story, whatever I think works well theme wise or whatever. So I've kind of got an option there depending on what I want to do and how deep I want to go with a film. It just depends what the thing is and how much, you know, how much it actually holds up to scrutiny. Like, for example, if I do like a review of the Mario movie, it's not going to be a super in-depth review because there's not much to analyze. It's just a strict, like, is it worth taking your kids to go see it? Yes or no? Yeah. It's kind of what it comes down to there. Yeah, MauLer, please do Nice Guys EFAP or a comedy arc.
Oh, nice they could very well be a comedy arc on the way. Who knows? Maybe. But no, the Nice Guys, I almost feel the need every time it comes up to be like, yeah, it's worth seeing, even though it's by the guy who ruined 2 different franchises I love. Don't worry about it.
Just before I move on here as well, Drinker, have you heard of Space Ice and his movie reviews? If so, a future team up, dude is hilarious to watch. I mean, he's literally been on Open Bar, and I've done like a whole bunch of like happy hours with him, and I've been on his channel as well. So
you could say he's familiar.
Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with Space Ice. Yeah, and you can find it not right here now on my main channel, but you can find it on my second channel. So yeah, you'll get that there. And before we move on, we have got Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, who's able to join us now. Welcome, Rob.
Sorry, I am late, gents. Obviously, I was coming back from doing the John Campea show, which is about 45 minutes away from here.
No, it's good to have you here. And
great to be back. Thanks for having me.
We kind of structured the show so we got the other stuff out of the way before you got here. So we talked about the Mario movie and Resident Evil, which I'm guessing you're not super interested in. So, you know.
Actually, I am pretty interested to see what Zach Kreger does with the film, and it did have a recent test screening that apparently went through the roof.
Really?
Okay.
So it's at the point now where it's in the can, and they are doing test screenings now.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and
Okay.
I heard the test screening went very, very well.
Okay.
So that I'll tell you something. Zach Cregger, I think, is an interesting filmmaker. He came out of comedy. He was doing sketch comedy stuff, and then he did Barbarian, and then that success, a $4.5 million movie that made 40 plus, and then producer Roy Lee, who, if you look up Roy Lee, one of the most prolific, incredible. He's more interested in getting movies financed, but last year he had everything from How to Train Your Dragon to Minecraft to Companion to Weapons. I mean, the guy he's got his fingers in all the pies, and he kind of found Zach Cregger, and so he's kind of brought him along. And I'm curious to see where he goes as a filmmaker, because he was a huge fan of the game, and I know he did something a little different than people I think are expecting.
Which game?
Oh well, okay, for the Resident Evil purists, but I'm curious. I mean, I think the guy has an interesting. He definitely has his own voice, which I like. So I hope it's good.
I don't doubt his abilities as a director generally. I think because you kind of missed the discussion that we had earlier about this, but like our general sentiment was like, I don't really want a Hollywood creative like bringing their own spin on this, like bringing their own voice to it, because when it's adapting a game, or the example I gave was like Project Hail Mary, a book, right? I want a faithful adaptation of the source material because that's why I'm there. It's an adaptation. I don't need some wild experimental horror movie that just so happens to be called Resident Evil, but it's really got nothing to do with it. And so I'm torn on this one because I want to believe in Cregger as a director because I liked what he did with Weapons. I thought that was a good movie. I just don't know what he's going to be giving us with this. I don't know what I'm supposed to latch onto.
It's also concerning, like, I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil. I'm adapting the game. It's kind of, to give you an idea, Robert, it's kind of like if someone said, I'm a big fan of the Star Trek show. You're like, what do you mean? And you're like, I really like, and the one he cites, like, explicitly is the newest one. You're like, okay.
Yeah. In Star Trek's case, that is a really bad example. Yeah.
Now, I do think that someone can earn the right to expand source material. So if they started with the games, accurately adapted it, and then were like, now I'd like to do my own thing, I think you can work up to that by proving yourself to the audience and sort of get them on side. But to just appear, especially at a time where people didn't like the previous adaptations, then you're really setting yourself up for a challenge. And so I think even if the movie is good, he's gonna have to win a lot of people over, and he's kind of giving himself a hard job. Like, it's worst case scenario for him.
We're in this strange timeline as well, where it's like, okay, video game adaptations are really taking off now. The Sonic movies, the Mario movies, all making bank at the cinema. You have The Last of Us, like, for better or worse, it's pretty faithful to the games, and so it's getting high profile attention. Even got Mortal Kombat, which the first one was kind of fun, and I think the second one will be as well. And then you've got Resident Evil kind of languishing in this like purgatory of like just shitty adaptations. Like, just like the easiest thing in the world to adapt, and they just cannot get it right. And man, it's frustrating.
It might even be, honestly, of all the games I've really come to love, it's like, what's the easiest one to turn into a movie? It's like, it might be Resident Evil 1. I'm not actually sure what else would beat that out.
And yeah, we've got Zelda as well coming. We've got Fallout as well. We've had them. So, man, it's
Robert,
annoying.
Do you know how much of that original script actually made it into the finished product? Or...
I don't. I don't know. I don't know anything about the finished film at all. So,
alrighty,
we'll see. You know another movie though that's had test screenings, 8 of them apparently, with 3 different endings. It's Supergirl, which is doing the rounds at the moment. We've seen the first full trailer for it a couple of days ago. I won't subject you to it again, although I do have it ready just in case you need it for reference or anything. But the atmosphere around this movie just seems to be getting more and more negative with each passing day. You had Millie Alcock decided to do an interview with Variety where she was talking about like how does she even phrase it? It's like
she got baited again.
It met
fucking questions. No one
There is a growing problem with men feeling like they own women's, being comfortable with owning women's bodies.
Yeah, well, here's the statement from Variety. It says here, Millie Alcock told Vanity Fair in a new interview that she's aware she'll face backlash over leading Warner Brothers Supergirl simply because she's playing a female superhero. I mean, we've had Wonder Woman and stuff, but okay, fine. The 25-year-old actor is no stranger to dealing with intense fandoms, having broken out as young Rhaenyra Targaryen in the first season of Game of Thrones prequel series House of the Dragon. Quote, "It definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself." Such a weird thing to say. Like, I don't really know what she was driving at with that one, but it's like,
especially with Supergirl, to go, there's always commentary when a woman owns this space. It's like, it's Supergirl. No one was expecting Henry Cavill to take the role. Like, it would only be J.K. Rowling haters that would think that would even be a possibility in this regard. So the first sentence is weird. The second one, I think she's more on about, like, a comment about attractiveness or a body or an outfit and that kind of thing. Something I can take from as what she means.
I would have to assume so, yeah, but
I mean, there have been a lot of unkind memes about the way that she looks by people that don't.
We can't help that she looks like the feral boy from Mad Max 2 or Will Poulter.
They shouldn't. I think that's a little bit on them. Why the hell did they they would have seen that a million times. They should have known. Like, you don't want your hero looking like that in a shot.
And why did they keep that shot in that we're all?
I don't think it's fair to say that she's like an ugly woman because of that moment. I think that's really unfair. But like, that's the kind of thing you don't want anyone looking like that when they're saving someone. That's like this is supposed to be an ideal. So
physics wise, I don't know what was going on in that shot. Like, there was just a lot of flesh getting contorted into unfortunate positions there. But yeah,
this is a double standard, though, as we all know. As first of all, if you're playing any sort of leading role like that, even Rhaenyra or whatever, like, there are expectations of how you're going to look. We do it to men all the time. It's the literal superhero workout where you need to be jacked.
Oh yeah.
So why would it not be the same?
I think the problem is, she's coming off the back of the Supergirl TV show, where I cannot remember the actress's name for the life of me.
Melissa Benoist.
There you go.
Is that how you pronounce it? I never would have.
Melissa Benoist. Yeah. Like, she is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, and so you're going to get compared to that because that's the last iteration of Supergirl that people remember, and it's going to be an unfortunate comparison because it's a tough one to measure up to. And I get that aspect of it, but I don't feel like many people were necessarily up in arms about, like, oh, she's not beautiful enough or anything like that. It just feels like preemptively being angry at the fans because they kind of know this movie's not going to do well. And so they need to get their excuses in early. And I feel like this is going to be one of the tried and tested ones. Like, oh, the toxic chuds just couldn't accept this
Wonder Woman's going to kick this film's ass on that front if they try that. If they say, like, nobody would support a female superhero. It's like, yeah, they have before. Stop it.
Also, she was talking to Vanity Fair. I mean, the Culture magazine. And I mean, I think that she was probably trying to, when she was being interviewed, talk within that kind of space in a way.
I'm shocked they didn't ask if it was the gayest Supergirl ever, because that's just what they do, knowing she's going to have to respond instead of saying, I just want to talk about the movie and I'm a big fan of the character and the fans have kept it alive. Like, just say the things.
Well, I think the movie, I do like the fact that they went and adapted the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow storyline, because I liked that graphic novel when I originally what's like over 10 years old now. And I like, it seems like, other than shoehorning Lobo into it, it does seem like it's rather faithful to the actual Tom King.
But isn't that the issue? Because it's kind of two girls going on a road trip of self-discovery, and it's
but I mean, I think that it was a pretty brutal. I mean, the comic was not some namby-pamby storyline. I mean, it was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
And, even to the point of it's a kind of a bait and switch with what happened to Crypto, because if you've read the storyline, it's not what you might seem to think when you first watch that trailer. But I mean, I think that it's because I like the fact that you have a character that's essentially alone. you know, and has lost her people and lost her place in the world or in the universe, and has to sort of find it again by helping someone else. I mean, that's a classic hero motivated story. So if it's good.
I think I feel like a lot of things are intersecting with this movie, and things that aren't necessarily popular with modern audiences. One of those things is the potential for like the sort of girl boss, you know, she's amazing at everything kind of superhero storyline, which has been done to death now by like the MCU and so on. I don't know if that's what they're actually going to produce here, but that's the vibe that people are going to get from it. And it is unfortunate that it gets tarred with that brush. The other thing is the James Gunn view of superheroes, which I think people are so over now. Like I get that his philosophy is kind of like heroism through cynicism, you know, where it's like he doesn't like the idea of someone who's just inherently heroic and wants to do the right thing, like Superman. You could tell how uncomfortable he was working with Superman as a character. He much prefers the idea of characters who are world weary and snarky and cynical and just like out for themselves, but gradually through like partly a found family, which is always a big theme of his, and partly through being forced to do heroic acts, they ultimately transition into being a real hero from that cynical background.
Yeah, but that's the confusion. He didn't write or direct this. This is Anna Noguera and Greg Gillespie, and yet it seems like he both wrote and directed it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was kind of building up to here, because I feel like what they've then taken is the essence of what they understand what James Gunn wants, essentially, from his superhero stories. And so much like you got a lot of the later Marvel movies that tried to replicate Joss Whedon's style of quippy dialogue and shit, and it was garbage because they didn't have the same skill as he did, I feel like you're almost getting a lesser James Gunn knockoff with this movie, because they're trying to impress James Gunn, who is ultimately the creative director of the whole of the DCU at this point. And so like we're somehow getting a worse version of James Gunn than James Gunn himself can produce. And we know from Superman, James Gunn can produce some pretty shitty movies.
We're on the way to gun fatigue for sure.
Oh, I also think we're Oh, so go ahead.
I'm not even sure about the tone of this movie, though, because the first trailer, it had a really upbeat soundtrack. It was all action. And then the later one was far more depressing. It was far more downbeat. And I don't know whether this is a consequence of all the 8 screenings that they've done. But if you watch them, you could almost come across something. It was 2 entirely different films or different tones or different pitches of this.
They've had 3 different composers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they were both pop songs, though, like already existing pop songs.
I'm just saying, as far as tone, you think that would help? Yeah, I don't think they know. And fair disclosure, Chris, our own Chris Gore, he said they've only had 2 test screenings, and he doesn't know where that 8 number comes from. But either way, the 3 composers is real. The fact that Anna Noguera, go look at her IMDb. You know what the other movies she's done? Teen Titans and Wonder Woman that aren't even out or made yet. Like, he just has put her in charge of almost everything.
Yeah. I don't love the idea that this plot entirely revolves around Crypto as well. He was like a funny little addition to Superman. Like, I didn't love him, but like, you know, I was like, okay, he's fine because he doesn't interfere with the plot that much. But like, to now say like, okay, the plot revolves around him being injured and we need to find an antidote to the poison that he's been given, so it's like a ticking clock. Like, god damn, are you just going to make him the centerpiece of every movie going forward?
But in the Tom King story, that's kind of a MacGuffin, or not a MacGuffin. It's a, what's the word I want to find? Red herring. Yes.
Right.
Because it's not what it seems.
Do you think they'll do the same here, or do you think they'll actually?
I think they will, because it has more to do with the other character, the girl that she's helping, than it does with. I mean, it's the comics out there. Crypto is not as wounded as we were led to believe, to quote Star Trek 2.
I had to do my homework, and yes, I did not enjoy it as much as Robert did. But I think there's a reason after that first test screening, they were like, add more Lobo, add more Superman.
Yeah, I think Lobo's not in that story.
Trailers are supposed to be representative of the film you get, so that you go into the cinema knowing the film you're going to get, which makes the audience far happier because they went in with expectations that were set at the correct level. If people go into this thinking it's all about their dog and you entirely change the story, it's not about the dog at all, or the dog isn't even injured, you will piss off your audience because they get a different movie than they expected.
I'm worried about Lobo too. Like I thought for sure they were going to have him be bounty hunting for Brainiac to set him up and say that he's trying to build his menagerie of almost extinct species and trying to get the last Kryptonians or whatever. Nah, seems like they're just in the same space bar. Say some pithy little things to each other.
In the trailer, Lobo's one of the few people I've seen like everyone likes, and he's the only happy person in the entire trailer. He's the only one who looks like he's having fun in the movie. I don't think that's accidental.
It kind of feels like it's just Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa again.
Yep.
But that's it. And it's fine, like he's good at being Jason Momoa in movies. It's just I don't know how much he's gonna really add to this one. There he is. Look at him being Jason. I mean, sure. I don't know, like none of these elements that I'm seeing in this trailer and that I've heard about this movie, you know, Crypto, Supergirl, Lobo, like none of them make me particularly interested in this film.
Robert's right in that it is a traditional, like, she doesn't want to be a hero, and by the end she realizes she has to be a hero. But the problem is, who wants that from Supergirl instead of, like, as your second goddamn movie, Batman or Wonder Woman or Flash or any... I just don't know if people want that from Supergirl now as your second movie.
There's also some just going to be world-building complications, right? Because he references Superman in the trailer that, like, she's got some kind of reputation on Earth, correct?
I think this takes place...
No, he says you're not going to connect.
Well, if you watch the Peacemaker, of course, that was so important when they retconned the DCEU and replaced it with the Justice Gang. That was before Superman. So she's already been on Earth. She's already flown around begrudgingly as Supergirl helping. And then clearly she pulls a Thor and she goes to find herself, which we all love those movies. But yeah, you're going to have to...
Well, so like, why wasn't she mentioned at all by anybody in Superman? As like
she was off, and then she shows up at the end to get her dog back, right?
So his point that she's around so little that she won't bond with the humans, so she won't care about them, is the way I took it.
Right.
No, but like Lex doesn't have any opinion on her impact on Earth or what she represents or stopping her in any way. He doesn't mention her at all.
Clearly, that would just be a failure in writing because she fully existed at the time, and he must have not thought she was even worth mentioning.
And then, of course, there's the whole, the House of L sort of stuff. Like, that's gonna be really hard for them to tiptoe around.
Well, I think that's why. Look, motivations matter for characters, and whether people like it or not, motivations are gendered. Men and women want different things. And rather than finding some random woman, it would have been far more emotional, and the audience would have kept it more if she was like actually trying to recreate the House of L, if she was actually giving birth. And now she kind of separated herself off from the universe, but now her baby's in danger, and so she goes off to fight for her baby to protect everyone else. That's something that everyone can relate to as just a base instinct, and it solves the House of L, it solves her kind of role in the story, why she would go all and do all this stuff rather than a dog. But in the modern times, you can't show that kind of thing, and I think that's one of the things missing from stories.
They're going to have to recontextualize it. They're going to have to say, he kind of already alluded that was just Jor-El and Lara's idea, but that's not all Kryptonians. So when you go to Kandor, she's got a different set of values, apparently.
I love how they're not just evil, they're notably evil within their own civilization too.
Well, who are we to judge a civilization by their standards, right? It's they're
no, but that's my point, is that with that reveal, it would mean they were evil even within Krypton.
Yes, correct. They're the extremists. Make Krypton great again.
One of the things that I see from this trailer, and I kind of got from his gun Superman, is that there is a mythic quality to these characters that is not in these films. Yes. It doesn't appear. And I think one of the things about like Zack Snyder's version of Man of Steel was very mythic, to the point where he was so inspired by Alex Ross paintings, and he was very much working in a tableau. Like he would create these images like he did with 300 and like he did with Watchmen that were very redolent of what you saw on the pages of the comic, but it carried with it a mythic feel.
But that's what MauLer identified, right? That was James' problem, is that he thought Superman was boring and he didn't know how to identify. But if you make him a poor schlub that puts his boots on one bit at a time, but then you lose the mythology and the
but that's all he's done. He's done that in Super. He's done that in Guardians of the Galaxy. He did that in Slither, and he did that in Peacemaker. And it's kind of a common theme. He did it in the Suicide Squad, and unfortunately, I think over and over and over again, it's kind of one note where you have to add a mythic quality. I mean, characters, superheroes by definition have a level of mythicness to them.
Modern mythology, basically.
Yeah, and you can go like they say that the DC characters are the gods, the Marvel characters are the demigods, even though you've got Thor and all that. But the way that they're treated, I think audiences don't necessarily want a 100% relatable superhero. That's who Spider-Man is. Spider-Man is the audience proxy for all of us. You know, that's why we all Peter Parker is the every person who's been imbued with powers, and he's just wants to help out his neighborhood. But if you're an alien from another planet and you've come to where we've got a yellow sun and filling you with powers, you are on a different level. And I think that we want to see more of that. And I think that the problem that I had overall with, I mean, I liked Superman more than some, but what I was missing from it was there was no myth in it at all.
I think, like, because James Gunn specifically talked about this movie saying, like, male superheroes have the opportunity to be messy and dysfunctional and flawed, but like you don't get to see that with female superheroes, and that's what they're going for here. And I thought to myself, do they really have that opportunity? Because outside of people like Tony Stark, you don't get that much of it. You don't get like particularly flawed human male superheroes either. You know, Batman, even like he is a split personality, and he has got light and dark in him, mostly dark. But he basically, you're not going to see him like watching TV late at night with his dog while eating cereal, you know, or waking up drunk the next day or something.
Yeah.
This is an attempt to humanize a character that's not human, and I don't want that. And
I think Hollywood is very uncomfortable with the idea that some people are better than others and that the hierarchy exists rather than equality and everyone's the same. But by definition, heroes have to be better than everyone else in the story. That's why they're heroes. That's why they're willing to do things that nobody else are. But if you believe that we're all the same and we're all capable of exactly the same thing, then you end up writing heroes that are just you. But because we're just normal mere mortals, we are messy, we do fall out, we do get depressed and all that kind of stuff. And so you end up just writing humans whether you want it or not. But you need hierarchy in these stories, because hierarchy is not just about people or what you do, it's about values and morals and people who are just always make the right decision rather than you. And the kind of equality angle is just acidic to these kind of stories. You end up with this image on the screen, which couldn't be less of a superhero image as it is. This is just your average woman feeding her dog with her own spoon that she's going to eat from herself. There's nothing inspiring about this image at all.
To touch on the point that Rob was making earlier about mythic superheroes, and they have an almost gods and monsters quality to them, funnily enough. You know, we did a poll once on Open Bar saying, like, well, which version of Superman would you prefer, right? Would you prefer the Zack Snyder Man of Steel Superman, or would you prefer James Gunn's Superman? And it came out 90% in favor of Zack Snyder's one. And I don't think that's necessarily an endorsement of Snyder and saying, like, well, his vision was perfect or anything like that. It's just this absolute rejection of James Gunn's take on Superman, because he made such an effort to turn this guy into a regular, relatable human being with just all the flaws and gripes and the whiny personality, that he took the super out of Superman. He just made him a regular guy who happens to be super strong, that can fly.
One of the biggest problems of the DCU right now. Superman didn't work.
I hate to say this. It pains me to say it, in fact. But like, if I had to choose between Snyder's like super serious, dour take on superheroes, but like also very heartfelt and very earnest attempts to tell like an epic story, versus Gunn's like subversive, you know, they're all just like you and me, but with like extra strength take on it. I take Snyder's version. I hate to say it,
easily.
but like you pushed me towards Zack Snyder because you're giving me nothing else here. At least he treated it with some kind of gravitas. Yeah, it was like way, way too dour and serious, but man, he believed in what he was doing there.
People always talk about Zack Snyder like aura farming, but you can only aura farm after you've just done something amazing that nobody else
Superman
could.
and Batman aura farm. They stand on fucking buildings and they float near American flags and they look awesome.
We
That's
don't
just
need
part
to
of the
rehash the problems of the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
They're all good.
100%. Yeah, there's a ton of problems, but it's like the lesser of two evils, I think, in this situation.
But I think back to, you know, I'm old, so I saw Superman the movie in 1978 in the theater, and I had, you know, grown up watching the Super Friends animated series, and I remember thinking, I mean, the first time you saw Superman in a movie theater, it was extraordinary. It was a year after Star Wars had come out, which taught everybody that that fantasy on movie screens had gone to a whole new level. And I remember thinking the opening of that movie, when you are on Krypton and you see Jor-El and the Council and Zod, Ursa and Non, the whole guilty, you were immediately transported to an alien world. And it was not the 1930s retro future that DC had portrayed in the comics, which I had loved. I mean, I loved Jor-El in the green with the big sun on his chest and all that. I loved all that. But with Marlon Brando bringing that gravitas, make fun of him all you want, but the way he spoke and everything that, you know, when I forget the actor's name, the British actor says, Jor-El, be reasonable. No one believes him. And when Krypton starts to fall, it was as transportive as anything you saw in Star Wars. It was insane. Like, you had never thought of Superman like this, because Superman still was the Adventures of Superman from the 50s, and he was still the kind of all shucks and the Super Friends cartoon. And when this movie came out, you got to see two sides of Superman, because Christopher Reeve played the bumbling Clark, but then he also played the mythic godlike Superman. And then, you know, Gene Hackman was kind of in between. And it was really amazing to watch, because it was clear that Superman was, when he was Clark, was playing a role. You know, he was Clark growing up with the Kents, and he was that guy. He was probably the purest, but he made a choice to create this Clark Kent alter ego to be able to move freely around Metropolis. And to see him play both sides of that was really fascinating. And I just thought, when I was a kid, I saw that movie like 11 times in the theater. I thought that was the coolest thing. And I'm like, I want to be like that. I want to have like this, people, they don't take me seriously, and I can kind of be the bumbling guy so I can get in wherever I need to go and get the intel. But I just didn't have the Superman side.
They also, did you like, there's the deleted scenes that were added back for some of the Donner cuts, where he after saving Lois for the first time and showing himself to the world, he goes back to the fortress and basically is like, you know, I kind of liked it. Like, I liked it maybe more than I should have. And Jor-El counsels him about, hey man, remember why you're doing this. You're not doing it for the adulation and the love. You're doing it to help them. They could be a better people, Kal-El. They wish to be, that type of thing. And to fundamentally change that and make them take a harem, son, and kill anyone that won't or can't follow you. It's just, man, it's alienating. It's so alienating.
There's an interesting point here as well. Like, they were talking about Snyderman's Superman was a god, but Gunn's Superman is a bitch. Like, I do wonder as well. Call me crazy, right? I've got this strange feeling that, like, as much as Gunn's Superman spent his entire movie getting his ass kicked, Supergirl is going to spend this entire movie kicking ass.
Yes.
She is never going to get beat down like he was. I guarantee you that. I think it's interesting how they choose to like approach each of these characters. I will say,
I've given you that tone in the trailer where she's surrounded by people and she's like, "This is going to end well. This is going to end badly for you." It's just going to be the entire movie.
I saw chat mention Brandon real quick. As the Brandon Routh, there's a moment in there when he's talking to Lois and he's like, he wrote that the world doesn't need a savior, but every day I hear them crying for one. That's fucking Superman. A man that has all the power in the world, but he still can't be everywhere at once. Right. For everyone he saved, he lets people die because he made a choice. And that's the crux of a Superman story that we just don't see anymore.
Can I say as well, like, I just happened to pause it at this moment in the trailer, but man, I just can't help but notice how shit the CGI looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, good God, that looks awful.
But you also have from the old Supermans where Lois shoots him, and you just see him go from like a hunched, weak guy up to Superman, and nothing else changes except his posture. Yeah. And I'm not even sure that the current crop of actors are even capable of doing that kind of thing anymore. Where you want to talk about show not tell, that scene is the perfect example.
I think Cornsweat would be just a fine Superman if they let him. Like, you could really tell from I think his wife recorded his screen test. He plays it the way we would all expect, and Gunn's direction turned him into that overly emotional.
I think he's got the building blocks of a good Superman. Like he's got the earnestness, and he's got the kind of chiseled jaw look about him. Like he looks like a Boy Scout, which is what you want Superman to be. James Gunn's not the guy to bring him to the masses.
I remember trying to discuss the difference between his Clark Kent and his Superman, and then there was a bit of a confusion of like, well, I don't even remember like how you really distinguish them. It's mostly the same in the movie. Like, and then there's not much. If you go by their costume, as in like he's Clark when he's not in his Superman outfit, you're like, yeah, I guess he was in it for a bit, you know. And then like the journalism aspect of the character, it's like he's 30, he's worked at the Daily Planet for X amount of time, still can't anticipate entirely how to deal with complicated questions from Lois. And then it's like, how long has he been this like they're doing that thing they did with Man of Steel where it's like, hey man, it's his first day on the job or something. It's like, no, it's
3
not.
years.
He's been going for a while, and he's 30. He's not like, you just don't expect a character to be this fucking naive after this many years on the planet. It's like, come on, Superman.
Yeah. And yeah, like he doesn't, there's not that control, there's not that kind of confidence that Reeve had, where like once he becomes Superman, he's like stoic, he's composed for the most part, like he's in control of himself. Yeah, like Cornsweat, like the version that they gave him to play, of even when he is Superman, he still feels like a child. He's emotional. He has like these big outbursts. He can't really control where he's at, and like even like he's a bit neurotic. And he does, like as MauLer said, he gets easily rattled by difficult questions. Like, man, Superman by this point shouldn't be like that. There's nothing really aspirational there, apart from
you want
like
the man that everyone loves to be around. He's super chill, but when things get serious, he takes control and he knows what he's doing. Like it's so much to ask, you know.
And I just that's not allowed. I don't think in Hollywood right now. I don't think that kind of character is allowed.
It's even weirder with Gunn put it in a world that's already had heroes for 300 years or however he recontextualized it. So it's not even like he's the first hero anymore. And he spends the whole movie kind of just trying to fit in and be liked by the Justice Gang. And I don't get that quiet confidence.
Like the Justice Gang are insulting him for most of the movie, and they're all like, "No, I'm easily your equal." And you get the impression that they could genuinely take him in a fight if they wanted, because they don't back down.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like their power levels are never really like tested against him, so you just don't know. But like I say, he spends most of that film getting his ass kicked anyway. So it's like I've got no reason to respect him really as a hero or as a person, because he doesn't demonstrate any particularly heroic or like aspirational qualities, and he seems to be able to be defeated by pretty much anyone.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't want to be gods. He wanted the power level to be lower, which it's like, I get, but he's still got to be stronger than everyone else, which he's not, or at least doesn't seem to be.
So yeah, Supergirl. I don't know. If you guys had to make a prediction, right? Finger in the air. Where do you think this is going to sit box office wise? Because
I stand by what we agreed on ages ago. 40% of Superman pretty much capping out on that.
Because I think I'd been more generous. I think I'd said like Superman did 600 million. I thought this would do like maybe 400. I think I was being way too generous.
If it makes more than 5, I'd be shocked. Robert?
It depends. I mean, it's hard to say because it depends how good it is. I mean, I didn't expect Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, to be as successful as it was, but it turned out that it was good, you know. And I think that if this connects with the audience, if it does have like, I like the idea if she's a badass and she doesn't put up with any shit and she pummels people that get in her way, that I would find that enjoyable. I would like that. It really comes down to, is this going to deliver? But yeah, I would say I would be very surprised if it made $500 million. But the problem with that is it needs to make more.
Yes.
You know, that because then you're
Yeah.
back into the same box office that the DC universe that this is supposed to be replacing was doing. And 300 million, 400 million, that's not going to cut it for this. I mean, the 600 and change that Gunn's Superman made was that was lucky. And this should actually should make more. I mean, you want it to have Wonder Woman to do Wonder Woman numbers. And
it doesn't have Gal Gadot in it, though.
I know. I don't know. And I'll tell you something else. What was really interesting is before that Wonder Woman came out, you had Wonder Woman and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And even though she was in it not very much, the portrayal of that character was great, including her theme song.
The music.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was so you immediately liked her, and the fact that, I mean, she could stand toe to toe with Bruce Wayne. And if that was the case, if Diana could, and then when you see her show up, that Superman and Batman, is she with you? No, I thought she was with you. I mean,
that's the point, though, right? We had better hopes for them, even if we didn't maybe like the movies. They like the characters and the actors, and I don't see that same goodwill for this.
Right. I mean, that's what I mean. And you already had that Wonder Woman character established, so going into that movie, there was a lot of earned goodwill from the audience. And it earned it, and it worked out for the audience. So hopefully this film will. I think if they choose a lane and they make her, I mean, I could see her if she's a badass and she's having a lot of fun, and with people like Jason Momoa and stuff, and I think it could work. But this movie needs. I mean, if it doesn't make $600 million, I know it cost a lot less, but it's still going to be seen as a disappointment, I think. And the DC universe it hasn't quite. I feel like it's one of those planes that's kind of going.
I think it's over. I already think it's over.
I don't think it hovered much. Yeah, Peacemaker, Creature Commandos.
Honestly, dude, like
I think it never got off the ground. It's
I think
like
it was over when
along
he
the runway
announced the
trying to get
slate.
up, and it's never quite lifted off.
Go back to the Slate announcement. I think the real BBC episode we did. Me, Gary, and Ezra was just like, "What the fuck are you doing? This slate doesn't make any sense. You've got to put your best foot forward, man." And it's funny because half those projects have been cancelled.
Yeah, it was worse originally.
It was worse. James is talented, but at the end of the day, I just don't think he gets these characters. You can hear about the way he talks about it when he said that, for Batman to exist, he has to have a reason to exist. Well, his fucking reason to exist is he is DC. Him and Superman are DC. That's his reason.
Yeah, but also, I think if you've got a business where you have to make $600 million on a movie to be profitable, you don't have a business. If everyone thought this movie was going to make $400 million, the budget should have been set so that $400 million was profitable. You set your budget around your expected box office. You don't make something and hope that people really like it and hope that it's exceptional and greater than everything else. It's a really that is. I think it's probably a leftover part of when the industry was so successful it couldn't do anything wrong, rather than now it has to be run like a private enterprise, like everything else is. Lean, only profitable, no waste. And they're just not used to that yet. But as to Supergirl having fun, I would have preferred Melissa to be Supergirl. I would prefer her version of Supergirl. I think it was way more interesting, more inspiring, it was happier. I don't think James Gunn knows how to make happy characters. I haven't really seen that in this, in any of the DC stuff at least. Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy had some.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I still say that I am curious to see this film. I mean, I'm always curious to see how these venerable characters are treated. But this was designed, I mean, as a holistic approach to doing a universe. And I don't think it's entirely worked at all, really. And because we've only been, what they should have done is set up a pantheon of directors and creators that were going to bring different takes to all of this stuff. So we would have been given many different flavors from great filmmakers. And now I feel like there's only been one taste so far, and it's all the same. It's been the same across.
Which is worrying because it's
yes,
new director and writer, and yet it sounds like it's just him. So
and the palette of this movie, the color palette of this film is dingy. I mean, it's browns, and it doesn't, like, even when you're like, one of my favorite shots in any movie is in Superman the movie when Pa Kent has died, and Superman Clark is telling Martha that he's leaving. And they shot the film in Alberta, Canada. And there's this incredible sweeping camera shot when you hear da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, and the camera pulls up, and you see this just amazing landscape, and it dwarfs these two people. And it is mythic Americana, even though it's shot in Canada. And it's incredible. And it's just a scene where you know that everything has changed in this person's life. And it's the beginning of his journey to becoming Superman. And it's so well done. And the audience, from an audience perspective, it was a pure cinematic moment, where the image itself is what is permeating your soul. And there wasn't any of that in James Gunn's Superman.
Hear me out, Robert. What if he had gone to a space bar and gotten drunk instead?
Well, the problem with that is that, again, that this is a space bar that exists in any single science fiction show we've ever seen. It's not even, at least in when Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy, you got to go to nowhere and meet the Collector, and you get to see nowhere. And there's a head of a celestial, and it's crazy. Like, if we're in space, why does this bar look like this? Like, why does it look like it's a dive bar on Earth?
Because these are recognizable things, and like all these superheroes have to be relatable now. Yeah. That's all it comes down to.
I want to see imagination.
Well, you come to the wrong place.
We got Mos Eisley 50 years ago, and it's time for.
I just want hopefulness. Like at the end of Project Hail Mary is how I wanted to feel at the end of Superman. Hopeful about like humanity and where we're going.
Well, the funny thing about Superman too is it felt small. Everything you kept going from one set to another, and even the Fortress of Solitude in a way sort of was mundane. In a way, it didn't give you the Fortress of Solitude in Donner's films because it was watching it grow. This was ostensibly the same fortress with the crystals that looked the same. They borrowed the iconography, but it just kind of felt sort of small.
Because there was never a moment where it was allowed to breathe and you were allowed to take it in for what it was as the audience. It was just introduced us as another location where Superman goes. That was it. There was never a moment where you were expected to like gape at the majesty of it. There was nothing of that. Because, why bother with that when we can just have Krypto throwing Superman around, or like the goofy robots that have their quippy dialogue with him. It's all just this complete deconstruction of what superheroes are. And it's just so it's so uninspiring. Yeah, it's tired. And I'm just done with this view of superheroes. I'm kind of bored of superhero movies in general, but man, this is just like the nadir of that. It's bleak.
Well, and as far as profitability, both of the budgets we've heard are not verified. We heard $200 million from the Forbes Australia expose, where they just mentioned it's a $200 million film, but they didn't give any sources. And then that $100 million that was going around where they cited Puck News, there's no article from Puck News saying it's $100 million. So already there's shenanigans with the budget.
It's bullshit. That's no way this is $100 million. This
I don't
is
believe
at
that for
least
a second,
$200 million plus another $100 million of marketing.
225 minimum.
That puts you into the same territory as Superman, where it's like got to make at least $600 million to break even. It's not going to do that.
Yeah,
no fucking way. If this makes $400 million, I'll be shocked.
Unless it's really good. Unless it's good.
Even if it's really good, do you think it's going to be able to make that much money?
I just don't think the enthusiasm's there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Project Hail Mary is really good. We're all blowing it. It's probably going to lose money at the box office. That's just the reality of the world.
I think that's looking at least $600 million to turn a profit as well. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's somewhere in the threes right now. So you got to be better than good these days, because I think ruined everyone's opinion about movies.
With Mario coming out now, and so it's going to dominate this weekend. Yeah. So Hail Mary is going to be out of the top spot easily.
My point is, if this comes out and it's depressing, and then Lanterns comes out and it's depressing, and Hal's dead at the end, and then Clayface is an outlier because it was not even going to be in the DCU before it got appropriated. Bro, what is your DCU? What is this universe you've built?
The thing is, you can have depressing in a movie and still be heroic. You're going to see this with Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn. So that is a really depressing apocalyptic world, but where the hero rises to change it. It's a classic story. You just can't do it the other way around. You can't have depressed hero in horrible world is miserable for a while. Nobody likes that. You're trying to escape from their work, not just be miserable all the time. There's be some kind of inspiration or change, and if that happens, because you can obviously do it in the arc in the movie, but you've got to put it in the trailer. You have to prep the audience that it's not a miserable movie, it's going to go on the arc. And trailers used to do this. They used to show you more of the movie and show you the overall character journey, and I miss that. I know people complain like Terminator 2 showed you everything about the movie. So yeah, but you knew what you were doing getting in, and nobody complained at the time. Everyone still liked the movie.
You know, I recently went back and watched, I hadn't seen Captain America Civil War in a while, and I went back and watched that film. The subject matter, it's very dour. You know, there's a lot of bad things that happen. That movie is wildly entertaining. It puts a smile on your face the whole time. The beginning, when they're attacking, when Wanda misfires and they're going after her, and all this bad stuff happens, but even the color palette is bright. You know, you're in these European cities, and the action is incredibly well directed, and all the stuff that you're watching. I mean, yeah, is Baron Zemo the greatest villain in the world? No, but he succeeded in doing what he was supposed to do. And when you watch that movie, it feels like a real meal. You just sat down and had this gourmet meal that was delicious, and it was satisfying. And I miss that. You know, I miss that from Marvel movies as well. I mean, but
oddly hopeful even at the end.
Yeah, and there's a hopefulness to it, but it also delves into like quite murky moral themes.
Yes, and it
like
gave you
questions.
so much.
But yeah, like I think in terms of the color palette, like they've straight up come out and said, like, we wanted to make a direct contrast with like the cool blues and the bright colors of Superman. We wanted it murky and piss filtered. And it's like, well, okay, that's a choice for sure. And we get what you're doing. It's just like what you produce on screen looks like visual diarrhea. And so we're not necessarily going to want to watch it, even though you've stated your artistic intent with it. It doesn't mean it's good.
Which is crazy, because the comic is bright and colorful as fuck. It's all the things you think they would want.
I don't understand why they don't go into like the pop art, sci-fi art of the 70s that belongs on the side of a van with all kinds of Frank Frazetta paintings, or the cover of a Yes album with dripping landscapes, and
Chris has her riding a white horse through space.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Foss, who did some of the design work for Jodorowsky's Dune and Alien, that kind of aesthetic, that's super science. Why do you want to look? Why do you want the universe to look dingy, like an East Texas bar or something right across, like in Ciudad Juarez in Mexico or something? Why do you want it to look like that? Why didn't you want it to look like it's in space?
I do wonder how much of this comes down to directors putting their own stamp on things. So it was mentioned before about the weapons director and how he could use showing the story from different perspectives, and Resident Evil that'd be perfect. But that director would probably go, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be known as the guy that always does stories from different perspectives, even if it's what's best for the movie. And you might end up with this. It's like, well, I don't want to be Superman. I want to make my own thing. Therefore, I have to change it, even though that was the best option.
Yeah, well, I was going to do like one or two of these super chats here, just try and keep up with it. I did like this one. Gents, I'm too old for video games. Mario, Resident, hard sci-fi, and Weir is outstanding. High school grad 79 in Philly, due east of 3 Mile. Radiation warnings like duck and cover. Day 444. Hostage release upon Reagan's inauguration. Disparu, thanks, you rock. He covered a lot of ground with that super chat right there.
I got lost along the way several times.
Took us on a journey.
Tour de horizon of 1979 right there. MauLer, just wanted to say thank you very much for introducing me to Soma. It was awoken a desire in me to play more horror games, though I imagine few will have the same impact on me.
Soma is a masterpiece. Glad you enjoyed it.
Nice. Critical, you rock as well. Saw Project Hail Mary second time yesterday. Finished the book last week. Got a merch popcorn bowl space helmet. Looking for Rocky merch. That Philly connection. Adrian, pretty nice. I like it. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. It just seems to be a good feel-good movie. Yeah, there was another thing that cropped up on X today that just made me chuckle. And also made me feel a bit disappointed in humanity as well. So like it's got that effect on people. It was talking about a actress here who was apparently asked by a director to hold in her stomach a little bit. Now that sounds horrific. I know it's traumatic, right? But the story here is like done in Variety, and it says here, the Riverdale and Forbidden Fruits actor Lily Reinhardt recently took part in a video interview for Cosmopolitan magazine and revealed that a male director once told her to suck in her stomach a little bit between takes. She didn't reveal his name, but joined by her co-stars Lola Tung and Victoria Pedretti, Reinhardt was asked to name the acting note that she took personally. She didn't hesitate to answer. When I had a male director come up to me and silently lean over and go, "Just suck in your stomach a little bit." Now, to put that in context, this is what the gentlemen of Marvel have to produce for us. just as a random sampling, right? Now, I think that goes a little bit beyond just holding your stomach a little bit. And yet they do not get any recourse on this. They don't get to complain about it. They're just expected to do it. And probably kill themselves in the gym for like 6 months prepping for that one moment where they have to go shirtless. When they never really have to go shirtless, it's not necessary for the story. It's just to provide a bit of eye candy for the female audience.
Was it necessary, right, to strip him naked, but not do it to Natalie Portman's character, who didn't have to work out, just had blue dots on her arms to give her the muscles?
Yeah, and so I'm sorry if you're
also
remember
outrage, how he said he was uncomfortable during that scene, he didn't want to do it, and he was basically forced into it by the director.
Yes.
Yeah, Taika Waititi said you got to get bums in seats about. Which is fascinating. It's just nowhere near as much fanfare for talking about that subject.
Henry Cavill in Witcher, who didn't drink water for days so that his muscles hung over his skin, he was like, by the end, I could smell water from across the room. Like, what? It's clearly an imbalance here of how we're treated. Like, thank you for the sacrifice, but also...
Yeah, so forgive me if I don't exactly, like, shower you with empathy or anything, but I kind of don't give a fuck that you had to hold in your stomach for a few seconds when these guys have to kill themselves for months on end to get ready for this.
It also doesn't it make you wonder about the context? Like, what if this dude was literally like, "Hey, do you think just real quick if you could do that?" Versus like, "Hey, fatty, hold in your stomach."
Well,
I wonder. It's like,
I'd be fine with that though. Like,
it would be funny.
Call me crazy. I would imagine most actresses want to look good on camera, and so like maybe if it's a scene where she's like, you know, leaning at an awkward angle or whatever, it's like, hey, if you don't hold in your stomach, you're gonna look not great here. So maybe if you just do that, it'll give you a better shot. It'll make you look better. That's a note you take. If he came to her and said like, "Hey, I need you to drop like 20 pounds in a week," okay, that's unreasonable. Like that's not something you should ask of an actor. But like that just seems like a tiny bit of direction. Why would you take that personally? Why should anyone be outraged?
That really bothered me, because a lot of the time what actors don't realize is the cinematographer and the director are always looking out for them to shoot at the most flattering angles. They don't want their protagonists to look bad, because they'll have to go, they might have to correct it in post. An actor will get angry. I'll tell you something, a lot of people don't realize this, but there is a lot of post work done by VFX to remove blemishes, to fix hair, to do all kinds of little cosmetic stuff to actors so they look better. And these are all effect shots, and they all cost money. And
the
even
Supergirl
the
one.
actors.
Why did no one say, hey, when you turn your head that way at that angle, it gives you a double chin and it makes you look way older?
The effects could also fix it. Nobody fixed that at any level. It's so weird to me.
Also, though, this wasn't just a random note. The question she was asked is, what is the worst actor's note you've ever had? And this is the one she answered without any waiting. So she has lived a very comfortable life with no one making any comments about her at all, to the point where this has stayed with her as like the major thing that she thinks about in Hollywood, which kind of shows the exact opposite of what she's trying to say, that nearly everyone wouldn't even dare bring this up in the current climate, which is probably one of the reasons that movies are worse. If people cannot criticize you, you will never know what's wrong to improve it. And that matters. And you have to think with any of these things, like, why do the men do it? Well, it's for the pleasure of the audience. You are not really a person in a movie. You are simply an object on the screen to entertain people. And so you should look your best. You should make things as worthwhile for the paying customer as possible. And you should want to do that. Otherwise, other people can be there who will for the same amount of money. And when you get paid this astronomical amount of money, I don't think socking your stomach in is a big ask.
I mean,
here's the
actors
issue
get
as well,
paid,
right?
Too. They get paid to do this.
Yeah.
Here's the issue as well, right? Like these guys are all from the MCU, right? And they're all from superhero movies, which are predominantly geared towards a male audience. I know that's sacrilege to say it, but that's the reality of it, right? Guys don't need to see this. This is to try and appeal to a female demographic, right? But there's no equivalent female representation like this. Okay. There's nothing for the guys where it's like, okay, a girl in a bikini or like a low cut top or whatever. That stuff is verboten now.
But also, hot take, I want my superheroes jacked. When Ben Affleck looked all jacked doing his Batman workout, I like that. If I'm playing a video game, you better believe I'm putting the muscle slider all the way up to the top.
It's
but I want Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider. It's like we can both have what we want in this.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make here, where it's like, okay, why can't we cater to both demographics and say, right, okay, there's these guys here for the ladies to ogle at, and just it makes the whole viewing experience a little more enjoyable. Why can we not get girls who are like showing a bit of skin and like who are really like, you know, in great shape? And it's nice for the guys to look at, but that's apparently unacceptable. But this, what you're seeing on your screen right now, that's totally fine. It's like, okay, somehow make that make sense for me. How is one thing acceptable and the other is exploitation? I don't get that. You can't explain it because it's just a double standard.
It's double standard. Yeah.
But you're not supposed to point it out.
Well, men and women are different, though, so I'm not sure whether it's a double standard or that we have to stop thinking that men and women are the same and they have the same standards and the same problems. So men don't get insecure around men that are muscular. If anything, it's like, well, I could do that if I could be bothered to lift. Whereas women will feel more insecure. They are far more intersexually competitive. That's just how it works.
We get inspired. It's like, bro, how did you get your abs to look like that? What fucking workouts are you doing? What are you eating? What's your diet?
Yeah,
I'm gonna try and copy you.
It's like when I was on about Nintendo before, it matters what your target audience is. And if your target audience is men, then they're the only people that matter. That is the opinion of people that matter. So it doesn't matter if a load of other people get offended. They're not your target demographic. And when you niche down on who your market is, you end up making better movies because you hyper-focus on one group of people. And that makes it way easier to predict the box office and everything else when you do it. There's only advantages.
No, we get the wave of bodybuilders that were inspired by like Conan and Terminator and all, like, you know, I want to look like that. Now it's super hard to look like that, but yeah.
I don't want to look like that. I'm too lazy. I'm never going to look like that.
Well, I mean, if you had a choice where it's like you could just instantly look like that, I'm sure you happily would. It's just
right. Oh yeah, if I could eat Cheetos and have a six-pack,
I would substance it real quick, but.
But yeah, it felt like such a weird non-traversy, but like somehow Variety felt the need to like pick up on it as a story. Like we're all meant to feel sorry for this actress. Like, nah, we've passed that point. I'm sorry. Like if you'd made that point in the 90s or the 80s or something like that, maybe, but not today. You don't get to
and the insinuation that they want to start some static. Like what are you going to do? Go pillory that director now? Because he was looking out for the project as a whole.
You know, if she was paid enough money, she would name names.
Well, and 100%. How long until they do name the name? And the guys in interviews like, "What do you have to say for yourself?" And he just goes, "I don't give a fuck."
Would you say that though? Despite
being the correct answer, how long until we get to have that?
But...
How long? How many decades until they can say that?
Until you wouldn't get fired for saying it. If you don't get fired, then people could start saying the truth, and then everything changes. There was a Mary Sue article about Supergirl and about her comments and the backlash, because now we have to treat the reaction to comments as if that is the action that started everything. And she actually says in that something along the lines of, it is our duty to come in and change these fan bases. And so it is all part of, we want, this fan base isn't like us, it doesn't think like us, it doesn't what we want, and so we have to go in and subvert it. And they're still trying that, and they will basically forever, because until people go, yeah, but you don't matter, your opinion in this doesn't matter, then because you're not the audience, it's never going to change. And I do think it's a problem of wanting 4-quadrant movies. You just make something crap for everybody in that nearly all the time.
Well, anyway, how about we finish up with some super chats? Are you guys ready? Could you handle them? All right, let's do this. Let's start off with paying tribute to the man himself. The best Chuck Norris fact is that his real-life story of success through determination and still remaining a decent person is far more inspiring than any other. R.I.P. Chuck, now on Ranger duty in heaven. We lost a good one with Chuck Norris right there. I honestly thought he was just going to live forever. Like he was going strong right until the end. Pretty sure his last video was like him training and like beating the shit out of.
I think it was climbing a mountain or something like that. Like he was some advanced hiking. Yeah.
Went out strong. 86 was it? 86 years old.
Yeah, something like that.
Pretty awesome. Melvin Deep Play, one of my mods here, says, I'm a chud. Charming, humble, hung like a donkey. Anyone else ready for a Game of Thrones show beyond Westeros? One that leans into the extreme fantasy and magic of A Song of Ice and Fire. I want to see places like Asai, etc. I mean,
sure.
Like, I'm perfectly happy with Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That's nice and grounded in reality, but hey, give me some good characters. I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's all I need. Excuse me. Hail Drinker. Can't wait to be blamed for when Supergirl fails. I get more hate on my vids from gun fans not liking what I say than any other topic. They're pretty diehard, that group of fans, aren't they?
It's a very interesting dynamic where I would never go into a sub or something like that, or a channel where they really liked gun and were extolling its virtues, but boy do they like to come in to any video that's daring to point out maybe some things that didn't resonate. Like they get so upset that you don't like it.
Me am women. Me am not able to exist in man space. Misogyny something dark side. I thought our casting was fine. Not anymore. I do wonder how many people that's put off, actually, because probably most people were pretty ambivalent towards Millie Alcock, but maybe not so much now. I don't know. Could you end up with a Captain Marvel situation or the Marvels? I don't know.
No, it's going to be like straight white men. This isn't for you. Why didn't straight white men see that? This is going to be a Charlie's Angels type situation at the end, for sure.
Possibly.
But that could be the media, like they take this as the signal to light the fires, and now they just go full speed. And so something that was just a couple of lines of remark from an actress turns into something it never was. This is why I know it was earlier that this was said within Vanity Fair, and so they were speaking to their audience. And yeah, but then you have to ask the question, should you really be speaking to Vanity Fair about Supergirl? Is that the audience, the target demographic of Supergirl? Or should you have been doing some lads mag and be like, no, you should, there's a reason why I'm wearing a skirt. I think you'd get more fans that way.
Yeah, I do like this one. Now that Artemis 2 is launched, we have just 9 days to get every person on Earth a Planet of the Apes costume so we could pull off something absolutely hilarious when the astronauts return. Man, I loved watching that launch, though. I stayed up to watch it, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but like when you're watching a manned space launch, you got that sort of tension in you.
Oh, yeah.
Just, like when you watch it, like it's getting higher and higher, and you're just willing it to keep going, make sure everything's okay and stuff. It's a proper like little adrenaline rush. I can't even imagine what it's like for the people actually strapped into the fucking thing.
I know.
Robert probably remembers Challenger, so he right. Like,
I was. I'll never forget that day. I was in college, and we had just gotten up, and we were in my dorm room at the time. We had 2 dorm rooms that were connected by a bathroom, and my friend Chuck Bender, who I later went on to make movies with, we were in his room because he had a TV in his room, and we were watching that live. And I had built many a model of the space shuttle when I was growing up. I built the Revell model when it was the Enterprise on the back of the 747. And what was maddening about that was when the external tank exploded and the 2 boosters went off, I knew exactly what had happened. And I was trying to explain to everybody. I'm like, oh, the astronauts just died. They're gone. And nobody believed me. Because on TV they wouldn't say it. It took a long time for them to admit what actually happened. And I was sitting there, I was completely distraught. I didn't go to class that day. I was just beside myself because I grew up, I was a huge space fanatic. I mean, when we saved Skylab in the 70s, that was a huge deal for me as a little kid too. And that accident really put the zap on me, man.
It's nice to see us going back. Like that is.
It's the first step towards going back, because obviously they're just orbiting the moon this time, but like they will eventually land on it. And it's like, it gives you some of that feeling of what the Apollo missions must have been like back in the 60s.
Well, what's interesting,
feeling, man,
counterpoint that with the TV series For All Mankind, which is going to have the second episode of its 5th season. And the whole premise of that show is, how would our lives have been different if the Soviets beat us to the moon and we continued on with the space program? And one of the things I was arguing with about people on Twitter today, or X, is that space research has so many byproducts of things that they have, when they have to figure out, okay, how can we keep, when you're in a small capsule and you're breathing out, when you have 4 people breathing out, how do we stop their breath from condensing on the electronics, the systems that are in that capsule? So they had to create things like monofilaments that would, well, this is for Apollo, monofilaments, little pieces of wire that would heat up to stop that condensation. And then someone figured out, hey, we can take those same monofilaments and put them in a hairdryer, you know, and it would be light. And suddenly you've got, women can blow their hair dry, men could blow, we could get that cool 70s poof going. That was a direct result of the space program. So there's so many different things. Why do we spend money going to space? There's so many different byproducts of space research that trickle down into every part of our civilization. And it's amazing.
I think we need it as well. Like, what are we going to do? Just stay on this one planet for the rest of our existence as a species? Like, I think at this point, we kind of need something bigger to aim for. Like, not just like as a species, but culturally as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, I get the feeling like, you know, we've clearly conquered this planet. Like, there's no real natural forces that present much of a threat to us. Like, you know, maybe earthquakes can, you know, damage buildings and stuff, but like, you know, it's not going to wipe us out as a species.
Famous last words.
Yeah, no, it's like, but you know, we're not. How can I put this? We're not like hiding from saber-toothed tigers anymore, right? And the result is, well, where does it lead us to? We end up getting bored. We get bored with like our lot in life, and maybe we get a little bit bored with ourselves as a culture, and we kind of need the next step now. We need something bigger to aim towards, and I think that is it. It's going to be reaching out into the solar system, colonizing the moon, Mars, onwards out into the outer solar system.
I want to meet sentient rocks and make friends.
So one coin flip away from being completely wiped out by either a polar shift or any of the fun things that have happened before. So you probably have continuity of civilization by able to go off.
I would say just never underestimate the unifying force of like getting behind a common goal. Because that on a cultural, societal level, man, it is so powerful.
A common dream.
Yeah.
You know, a dream, too, that will continue to expand.
We'll wait for the fake alien attack that'll unify us all.
Yeah.
Project Bluebeam will come.
When you're nudged to revisit Star Fox 64 and realize Fringy is most of that game's cast rolled into a single person.
Those are fun, man. Those games. Star Fox was great.
How does Mario contact his dead brother? He uses a Luigi board. Happy Easter, everyone. I like that one.
I often call it a Luigi board, and every once in a while someone will be like, do you not know it's called Ouija? And I'm like, no. It's a Luigi board.
Drinker, MauLer, and the rest. Do you know that the Mario Galaxy movie is a terrible film according to the Times, where they gave it a 0?
A 0?
Wow.
Fucking hell, that's joyless. Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm finally able to catch these live. 2 things. One, I hate the fact that these actors take any form of criticism about the characters they're playing and they take it personal. And who you got, Robert or Boromir in 1v1? Ooh, right.
I thought you meant Robert Meyer Burnett versus Boromir.
I know, yeah.
I was going to say.
I don't know
Robert so we're saying,
obviously. No.
So Robert Baratheon, peak Robert Baratheon versus Boromir?
Gary had this question as well. Generally, right, like it seems that there's an advantage for the men of the Lord of the Rings fantasy, but Robert is one of the top warriors of all time from Westeros. So yeah, it's a tough one.
I think Robert would probably take it, but I think it'd be a hell of a good fight. Yeah.
Hey, I will do that real quick now.
I know, yeah. Loving Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers takes on Mario. It's fun, not a great film. Took my kid, 4 p.m. show. Families were there enjoying it. Last time Disney did that, lol. Yeah, exactly.
So the Times headline for Mario is this the end of cinema? Chris Pratt, Anna Taylor, and Glenn Powell joylessly bleat their way through this supremely vacuous anti-movie, which is at times physically painful.
Wow. They're not entirely wrong either.
They didn't like it, I assume.
No.
I thought you were going to say, is this the end of civilization instead of cinema?
That's probably towards the end.
They were that alarmist. Yeah, Angry Joe is going after Chris Gore and Nerdrotic for criticizing the statement Millie Alcock made about fans. He's a simp for anything DC. Bumped up his Superman score from a 6 to an 8 out of 10. He also trashed the audience. Angry Joe is fucking... He's still
he also lied about the quote. He said, "What's wrong with the comment, I can only try my best?" Which isn't what anyone took issue with. So his entire response was a bit odd.
Yeah.
Joe's a weird one. He's an odd one. I hope it helps him get his channel back up and running though, because man, he could use the help.
I apologize on behalf of the Angries. We don't claim him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Got some One Piece season 2 live action. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was a whole lot of fun. It's complete silly, over the top nonsense, but like if you embrace that world and you just realize that this is a live action anime, it all slots into place and it just becomes kind of awesome. So I liked it. Yeah. Did you all celebrate the 6-year anniversary of the movie Bob McDonald's challenge? Cheers, lads. Also, MauLer, did you hear that Major Lee lost his channel?
No, I didn't hear that he lost his channel. It's unfortunate. As for celebrating movie Bob's McDonald's challenge, I wouldn't recommend it. Could hurt yourself.
Have you ever attempted it?
No, I haven't. But I keep telling every time Mel comes over, we should definitely do it together. See if the two of us can defeat the single person challenge. We always forget to do it.
I think if I head down, we hang out for a bit. I think we should attempt it.
We should try it. All right.
Because like somewhere there'll be a list of all the things in it, right? Like it'll still be out
oh
there.
yeah. Dude, there's like 4 large fucking Cokes in and among it.
The drink is going to be the hard part, I think.
Yeah.
Like all that liquid, it's like that's going to be tough. Anyone planning to go to the Denver Fan Expo? Close to a dozen Lord of the Rings cast members are scheduled to attend.
Wow.
Not planning on that one. Most of them were actually at MegaCon. Although I think a couple had to drop out due to like illness or something. Like who was the guy who played Denethor? I know Gary was scheduled to meet
John Noble.
Yeah, Gary was scheduled to meet him and do a photo shoot with him, but like he had to bail on that. But I think he did see the Hobbits. Like they were all there.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I didn't go, but there was a lot of interesting celebrities there. Alec Baldwin was there signing.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to
the picture
ABF.
taken with Alec Baldwin's finger.
Yeah, both going like this. Like, oh, brutal. Master of Puppets just finished One Piece Season 2. I thought it was better than Season 1. I hope they get Season 3 out quickly and don't fuck it up. I thought the casting of Nico Robin was spot on, one of my favorite characters from the season. No arguments here. All good stuff. Is Hollywood collapsing? The new Kathleen Kennedy is retiring. Now she's pretty much gone. That's 2 questions, but yeah, Kathleen Kennedy is pretty much out now, I guess. Like she's out of Lucasfilm and stuff. There is this handy graph actually that I got, which charts the amount of new productions and production activity in Hollywood over the past 4 years. That is a bad graph, man. Look at that really trend. Bad. It's television.
Wasn't 21 still under lockdown and stuff? So that was already a low point.
Well, and specifically in Los Angeles because they've taxed everyone to high heaven. So they're in Georgia or your guys' fine country. Yeah.
But yeah, Californian productions are just decimated by this. I mean, yeah, television in particular, that's a drop of like 2/3 almost.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Awful.
The whole city's like a ghost town when it comes to that. It's not good.
Can they ever turn it around if they just like drop all their taxes and give them incentives to come back?
I honestly am dubious about that. It's just Los Angeles, we took production for granted here for so long that everybody has their hand out, and that wouldn't change. If you it's not just the fact that people aren't shooting here, it's across the board. The entire city is unfriendly. It's not even like, I don't know if you heard, there's a story about they're making a new Baywatch, for instance.
Yeah.
And they had new tax credits and they were all getting ready to shoot down in Venice. They had their production offices down there. And then it was all like the city permits. They were given tax incentives by the state, but then it was the local government in Venice that made it impossible, where they had to like pull out and not shoot there. because they all and that is the problem with Los Angeles, is that there's no concerted effort by the entire city, and especially the different municipalities, to sit down and go, okay, we are going to help you make this work. And if you have a statewide tax incentive that brings your production into Venice, and then the local city turns around and screws you at every opportunity, and basically says, we don't want you here. I mean, I think they're like going to a foreign country to shoot the beach stuff now or something. And that's what LA did to itself. We shot ourselves in the foot.
Isn't that what
Rob
Mel
Lowe
Gibson said
talked
was
about
cheaper?
this, didn't he?
Was it Rob? Was it cheaper to take them to another country, film for 3 days?
Yeah, it was Eastern Europe, I think, or something.
Yeah,
it's cheaper
and well,
to
that's
take the
because
entire
the,
production team there than it was to film in LA, like right
that's
in their
not good.
back lot.
Yeah,
It's
and that's,
insane.
I mean, and then they wonder why. And then the problem is, it's not just the fact that people aren't working, it's all the restaurants, the dry cleaners, it's everything that services individuals that make money through the entertainment industry. LA, if you go through Hollywood and Melrose, these places that were celebrated, even West Los Angeles, the city's almost a ghost town.
Yeah,
This is one of the issues with anyone that is that way economically inclined to be like pro-tax, is they don't realize that if you don't tax them, then they go out and they employ people and they spend things, and that's where you get your tax anyway. So you actually end up with more tax, giving them less taxes. But they don't think that far ahead down the chain. All they see is, I want this money now, and it kills everything.
Yeah.
COVID decimated the restaurant industry, and then the wildfires, and then the taxes, and then no one wants to shoot right across the street from all the crackhead fentanyl addicts. So you got to pay for security. It's like, bro, I'll go to Georgia. I'll go to Texas. I'll go somewhere else.
On the plus side, if you're doing a zombie movie, like, it's free extras. So, like, there is that.
But it's really ugly.
Yeah.
Drinker, do you prefer super chat that has just one question, or do you mind? I just noticed that recently some with 2 questions are not answered. I mean, obviously it's easier if there's just one direct question. Like, sometimes you get a super chat that asks us like 5 different things, and you might go off on a tangent for like the next 10 minutes, like answering one question, and by the time you sort of circle back, you've forgotten what the other ones were, and then you like move on to the next super chat. It's just, we're only human ultimately.
It's all relative, because like there could be one question, but you'll get some people who are like, "Hey, so for the 5 of you, what's your top 20 movies?" It's like,
And it's like, yeah, we've got limits, man. Yeah, Drinker, thank you for your Mr. In Between review. Now get MauLer to experience the goodness of Dimmies. Yeah, man, I do recommend Mr. In Between. Now that I've finally experienced it, it's really fucking good, and I think you would enjoy it a lot.
Have you finished it?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Season 2 was the highlight for me. Like the final episode of season 2, fuck man, that's a heartbreaker, but it's good stuff. Very well done. So if you ever get around to watching it, I think you'll enjoy it a great deal. B-Buster says, I was at Disco Demolition Night. Shit, and you survived? Damn. You still have a chunk of the field, yeah. Drinker, is it true you've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? It's one of the greatest series of all time. Masterclass in storytelling, world building, and character development. It is true. I have not seen
animated.
it.
Oh yeah, it's great.
I 100% believe you. I do want to watch it. If I just had an extra of like 10 days where I could lock myself in a bunker and watch it all, great.
Yeah.
Looking snazzy tonight, MauLer. Yeah, I could tell you've dressed up well.
Oh yeah.
Maggie's in the mud. Love you both. Got me through working my crappy job in a bar. Will you be going to see Game of Thrones prequel? Will there be a meetup? I mean, I'm not going to go anywhere to see it. If we get a prequel, I'll watch it. But yeah, we've got no further meetups planned just right now. Gary and I are going to be at con in July, though. We're going to South Carolina, so we'll announce more about that soon. Next year, we want an orange I Love Drinkers shirts for MegaCon. Well, we already had Ryan's one, so I deserve one now. What's the next one? Yeah, I've done these next couple here. Yeah, I was extremely underwhelmed by the first Mario movie. Afterwards, I turned to my wife and was like, that was boring. I mean,
God.
Fair enough. What's the next one? Drinker, have you ever watched the Pendragon Cycle? I would have loved to see you review it. I thought it was really good. I watched the first couple of episodes. they're super busy. It's trying to cram a shit ton of lore and world building into like a very short space of time. I think it's a little bit overstuffed with all that stuff. But yeah, overall, I think they did an okay job with it. The acting was decent in places. I think the lack of budget showed through in some of the battle sequences, but overall, it's all right. It's definitely a good start for them. Be interested to see where it goes. I need to watch the rest of season 1 because, like I say, I've only watched the first couple of episodes, but it's not bad so far. It's not really in the same league as like Night of the Seven Kingdoms or House of the Dragon or anything. Let's see. Lego, no lore, great movie. What's Mario's excuse? Doesn't need lore, but it does have story. It does have characters. So, and it lets it breathe occasionally. Yeah, I decided to check out an Invisible Man happy hour, but discovered the Great Bly Manor debate of 2021. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Ah, memories.
I'd forgotten about that. Yeah,
dude, 2021. Jesus,
that was 5 years ago. We did that shit. Jesus. Yeah. Her screen, my eyes. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple here that we've already done. Oh, yeah. Why are you guys talking about Captain Mar? I mean, Supergirl. Isn't Spider-Man coming out? Yeah.
Eventually.
MauLer, are you excited for Spider-Man? Is the panel excited?
I don't know. There's a lot of little tells as to what that movie. I feel like it's in trouble for a lot of reasons. We'll have to see what's going on in it. It feels really overstuffed. I feel like we might be heading to like a Spider-Man 3 situation.
It's what I wanted, but there's a lot of red flags that I could potentially see.
Yeah, check out Hunting Matthew Nichols, as it's clearly everything Stuckman wanted Shelby Oaks to be, and maybe he plagiarized it, but that's unconfirmed. You guys heard of that?
No.
Hunting Matthew Nichols. Yeah. Longban, explain what happens when you look outside.
It hurts. Happen? You don't want to go out there. There's all kinds of people walking around. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah.
People.
Ugh. I know. That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, you were talking about actresses who aged well. Check out Catherine Deneuve in The Hunger, Astonishing Beauty and Sophistication. Wait a minute, I'm going to have to look for her then. All right. There we go. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I get where you're going with this. She's an older actress, but she's got that kind of classic, it's like a 1940s sort of classic pin-up beauty about her. So
that was also in 1983, and people used to have way less surgery then. I think surgery is a lot of the problem with older actresses looking.
The problem with the younger actresses these days, like holy shit.
Yeah, the preemptive surgery and stuff is wild.
And they look, it's insane.
It's like the weirdest removed from their faces, and they look like fucking Skeletor.
Well, Ozempic
now
too.
They have what is it? Preemptive Botox, and they don't realize that paralyzes your muscles, so then your muscles atrophy, and so you sag earlier. It makes it worse. It's crazy.
If you're factually true, you're morally correct. They don't care about morals. They want to force their will on the world. Typical Luciferian arrogance. Yeah, I think that's
their morals. They just have different morals than you do.
Yeah, they want the appearance of being correct, rather than actually being factually right. As soon as Kreger said he was going to diverge from the main story, I was out. Why can't we just adapt the first game? All the pieces are there. Here.
Yeah.
The Hill, it's silent, and its residents are evil. It seems the evil is within. Oh my God.
Did you guys see the Return to Silent Hill that just came out?
Yes.
Last month?
I did.
That was painful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
so
didn't
funny
even know anything about the games to get annoyed by. It was just a horrible movie.
The director was super passionate about it as well. This was like his project that he had to work his ass off to get made.
Yep.
And I thought, why to make this? Yeah. I mean, the lead actor did a good job. Like, he gave a pretty good performance. But aside from that, yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. Resident Evil, when an apartment tenant refuses to pay the rent, how dare they? Yeah. Who is the Resident Evil in the first game, MauLer, now that you've just recently played it?
Spencer. What a prick.
Is he resident there though?
I don't think
just evil.
Is he even there? I don't know. Well, whatever. You know what? When I was playing it, I was like, the guy who orchestrated all of this, the one that like horribly experimented on all kinds of people, including little girls, to the point of just killing and torturing all these different people to create bioweapons to horrify the universe. I feel like there's a redemption arc there. Maybe one that takes place right before he dies for a few minutes in a new game. We could do that, right? What do you think, Drinker?
I think that could work.
Let's do that. Could work. Yes.
Yeah, it shouldn't be this hard to make a Jill sandwich. Apparently it is, though. Do a movie about Hunk. That'd be fun. Did you like when he showed up in Requiem, MauLer, and then just instantly got killed by Leon?
It's a rare thing to have this epic action fight. You know what? People are going to hate me for this. It reminded me of The Last of Us 2, because I didn't want Hunk to die. I was like having to fight him, and I was like, I don't want him to. And then you just fucking like slice the shit out of his neck, and I was like, aw.
It's all right.
I'm sure he's fine. I know, because Resident Evil fucking rules. But the reason I bring up The Last of Us 2 is because when you play as Abby and you have to like escape Ellie, and it's just like, no, kill me, kill me, kill me, please.
Come on, kill me. I'm here. Hail to the bar. Have any of you watched the latest episodes of Invincible? If so, what did you think? Haven't watched it. I got through the first 2 seasons. Haven't watched the rest yet.
I say I checked out at the 3rd season. I didn't watch.
I've seen the first, I think it's 5 out. I think I've seen like 4.5. I like it so far. I know there's a lot of people had a problem with it. I don't think I've got to that part yet, or I just didn't see it as an issue myself. But then again, I don't know the comics. And so I've heard there's loads of swaps and everything that I think annoys people, which I won't even realize.
Let me finish with this one. With regards to objective criticism, George Bernard Shaw said, the sign of a fool's brain is reducing art into pedantry. How do you balance objective criticism with the danger of measuring art against pedantic standards? This is a question for our resident objective longoid, I think.
Well, why couldn't pedantry come into any analysis? Why would it only be trying to represent without bias? Like that's how I see it. If you get bothered by specific things and you talk about that, that's totally awesome. I think this is a part of all kinds of reviews. But then if you're also trying to be clear about what things happen and how they relate to other things, and you misrepresent it or something, it's like, well, could you try, because you hate, let's say, a particular actor, and so you just like, God, they were awful throughout the whole fucking movie. Like if you hated Heath Ledger or something, you were just like, God, he was awful as Joker. He fucking messed up everything. It's the kind of thing that's like, okay, well, maybe calm down if you can just try to. I guess what I'm getting at is just like, I don't see why trying to do your best to, use theory and history to create an analysis that's really like detailed. Just saying, oh no, pedantry. Like I think that just comes into anyone's commentary on anything.
I think it becomes difficult as well, because your definition of pedantry is by definition subjective as well. What one person would consider pedantic, another person might consider fundamental to like the story.
I have an excellent example, Drinker. Remember when Red Letter Media went at Ryan for hating the changes with Ki-Adi-Mundi? And then people were like, you guys went crazy over everything to do with Star Trek. And they're like, yeah, but that's different. It was like, is it though? Is it really? So,
if it's a detail that seems small, but then that overlooked or changed detail fundamentally changes everything going onward, then it's not a small detail.
Yeah.
Case in point, Ki-Adi knowing that there were active Force users using the dark side out there. Yeah.
Well, I think we will probably finish up right there. But panel, guests, it's been lovely having you guys here, as always. I appreciate you giving up some time for this. And Rob, I appreciate you like fighting your way through LA traffic to get
it was
back.
You know what? I thought I'd get back here sooner, and then suddenly, as LA traffic is wont to do, it just stopped. I'm sitting there on the freeway, and there was no movement at all for like 20 minutes. Turns out there was an accident, which I still don't understand. When you had a black Ford like F1 pickup truck all smashed up facing me as I'm driving into it, and it was in my lane.
Ooh.
How does this happen? I don't know. It happens every day on the 91. Every single day.
LA be crazy. But for everyone that's joined us as well, appreciate you guys as always. Hopefully we kept you entertained for a couple of hours. And as we always do, MauLer and I will catch up on any super chats that we didn't quite get through on last orders. But right now, that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.
Yeah.
Be seeing you.